couple of IPOs today as well coming out. A couple of smaller ones. I'm sure they'll cover that as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to get out of here, man.
2 o'clock. Let's send it on to the Bash Brothers.
Ciao.
Yes, yes. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy Joey Options. I am Sharif, and there is a lot of small cap gappers running. I'm involved in one right now, WOLF. Great bounce off the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. We've got a couple of outs on this bad boy, looking for the next one here at $1.47. The high of the day is at $1.52, having trouble with that $0.50 area, so we're going to keep an eye out on that. I've been involved in a bunch of other names as well. Got involved in SERV for a VWAP retracement back to the high side. Having trouble taking out 11.5 though, so we're going to keep an eye out on that as well. So lots of different quantum names as well running. As you saw, the Katina man this morning in his long with QBTS. You have Ion Q as well as Rigetti. They're all moving to the high side, so quantum will be in play today, Joseph.
Yeah, all right, guys. I mean, we put on some good trades yesterday on IBIT, but that's the thing with trading. You just turn into another day, a new day with more incomplete information. So here we go. Yeah, I went 0 for 3 today, and I talked about the app played. I took 3 swings on this, got aggressive. So you can see entry 1, I'm like, all right, let's get this ball rolling, and if we're going to break through some of these pre-market highs, then I'm positioned relatively well, and then with an opportunity to add, it just didn't work out. So we took a hefty loss right there, and then I got even more aggressive for the hold, but you can see this down channel was just fully intact, and with the market moving higher at this time and Bitcoin wasn't participating, I knew I was in trouble, so I was like, okay, let me get out of this one. This was a small paper cut, so can't get too frustrated with that, but then we took another attempt here on IBIT, guys, and it just didn't work. Until we break this down channel, then I can't take any more swings at it, all right? So you just got to be patient until we sit on the opposite end of this channel. Here we go. I'll draw for you momentarily. So this is exactly what I'm looking at. If you get a 5-minute candle to open and close above this, then you might get that opportunity. But, I mean, I believe we're pretty extended here in this underlying asset. Now, if you want to talk about fumbled bags of the day, never mind that. That was Google for me here, guys. I had a really wicked position on this one. Surprisingly, my first entry right here, so you can see I entered, added to that, and then I got stopped out. It was actually 33% heavier than this, and then I was just too fidgety, and I didn't hold on for the whole move. So that's a big-time missed opportunity. I was down quite a bit, so it kind of messed with my psychology, and then there you go. We take another entry on it, and it didn't work out. But the tape seems relatively strong here on Bitcoin. I'll take one more stab at it just because I do believe we can get going. But I believe you have to be more patient. We have to crack that downtrend line and then sit on top of that there, Sharif.
All right, another one that's running today, SYTA. It's a former runner. It's a multi-day runner. We were looking at this one several days ago, having yet another good day, about 55% in the green with an 870 high right now. It does have a 5-candle lower low, lower high. Well, lower high. We'll see about this current candle right now, whether it ends up being a lower low. It's dancing with that $8 area, a little above, a little bit below, getting a bit of an explosion to the high side right now. So we're going to go long over here. Let's see if it can take out that $0.25 level. A seller at 24, I observed there. There it is. So we'll see if we can get in with this one. There we go. We get long at that level. We'll take some profits out in the high 20s as well. So this one on one right now. Let's see if we're able to extract some more. We're taking it to the high side right now. We're taking out all the levels, so good luck. Let's see if we can continue moving up here. Let's see if we can clear that 40 penny level. So we're long at 25s, which gives us a bit of room with this one. Seller at 30 now, so they've moved down their order, or the short seller or whoever, the profit taker selling the order. Now we've taken them out at 32s, SYTA, the ticker. Let's see if we can clear 37, seller again at 35. It's an 870 high, so we're gonna have resistance obviously at every level, but expect more resistance as we get closer to that $0.75. There we go. Just took out all my sell orders but one. Let's see if we can continue up here. I've got more size than I typically take with these bad boys during the midday. So let's set up some more here at 45s. Don't want to take out too much too quickly, but here's the deal. Anything below 18.18 and we're gone. And I'm going to have to give this a decent spread over here between the order price and the trigger. So I'm giving this one room, but I've moved up my stop from a defend of 8 into basically just about 7 pennies below my order entry, okay? So that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at SYTA. We're taking it into the 40s, and it seems to be stalling out here at 27s. Now, that could be just a momentary thing, or it could be the buy orders drying up. That concerns me. And there we go. We get a bit of a sell. As you see, the blue coming in on the time and sales there, that means exuberant selling. But look at that. Bamboozlement's real. And now we're taking out all the levels again. Here comes 40. Rejection at 40, and there it is, all the levels getting cleared. Seller at 45 again, boom, up to that high side. Let's set up at 50s now. Okay, so we've got 25s on here and we got shares. So keep your eye on this one. It made another 5-minute candle to make a new high. Just be on the alert. 50 penny level, 70 penny level, key areas of resistance. The psychological area being the 50 and the actual technical price level, the high of the day, 70. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one, Joseph.
Yeah, good look there, guys. Yeah, so you can see, Neil messaged me as well, too. He's like, yeah, I'm just waiting for this down channel to crack. So we have to be patient until we sit on the other side of this trend here, guys. But yeah, I mean, so I want to break down kind of where I went wrong. I posted on X, so if you want, just go give your boy a follow as well too. And we'll talk about it right now. Is that okay? So Google, we seen yesterday on that bond news that we heard, the 20-year. Google held up relatively strong. We know that Bitcoin has been trading higher significantly for the past couple of days and maybe slightly extended in the short term. So I had 2 names on my watch list this morning. It was Google and it was IBIT for the continuation. But one thing to note is that, as you can see here, guys, Bitcoin wasn't participating in the rally to the top side. So that's signal number 1. And then right out of the gate, Google was strong, and I was focusing on the time of sales. And when it started to break up, I seen that strength. You've seen large orders continuously lifting that ask. And I should have stuck in that name. And I'm just thinking out loud here. I know we say shoulda, coulda, woulda, but this is just me kind of talking with you guys how I can make that trade significantly better and avoid things that aren't relatively strong. So for me, that was the case, right? So Bitcoin slightly extended, was trading higher after hours as well too, put in a monster day yesterday, but then it also sold off on that news as well, all right? So you can see that. I'm not going to say there's any form of relative weakness, but it was participating with the overall market. Google was an outlier. It was moving on its own. It wasn't in correlation with the market for that specific time period. And then that's why when I came in this morning, I had 2 names. It was IBIT and it was Google. Google also was sitting on top of a daily range here. Let me pull it up here so we can see more of what I'm getting at. And you can see that we opened up on top of this resistance zone right here. For me, that's a signal of strength. And then with the tape being strong as well, that's an opportunity to be like, Joe, you have to take that trade and then you have to just stick with your guns. I mentioned to you before that because I was pushing a little bit heavier on my initial entry and I took a decent sized loss, my psychology was kind of messed up. And that's one thing that's really important is as you're continuously gradually starting to increase your share size is that you don't want to change your mindset. You want to be able to operate as if you're still trading 5, 10, 15, 20 shares, whatever it may be, if you're trading hundreds of shares. And that's why you have to just gradually, slowly increase, so you don't operate in a different manner than you were to as if you only had 5 or 10 shares. You want to execute the exact same, and that's where I faulted this morning. So lesson learned. We're going to come back. There's still plenty of time left within the day and some good opportunities. I do like this 5-minute indecision print here on Google, guys, for a potential long, but I'm going to start really, really small on this one here. I am, full disclosure, because of my losses on IBIT, I am down just a little bit more than half my shutdown, but that's nothing. We can climb back from this. We just have to be patient. There could be a good opportunity for Bitcoin to get rolling again, but we just need to sit on the backside of that trend.
I'll use that.
Go ahead, Satea.
Okay. Hello. So JP Morgan to lend more than $7 billion for OpenAI data center. So just to give you some background information, JP Morgan is actively integrating OpenAI technology in its operations. JP Morgan Chase is utilizing LMS Suite, an AI assistant powered by OpenAI's largest language model to help employees with tasks like writing emails and reports. They are also exploring generative AI in call centers for customer services. So additionally, JP Morgan is using OpenAI GPT model to create thematic investment baskets through a tool called Index GPT. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Satya. I appreciate that. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on JP Morgan. Obviously, Jamie Dimon making comments about crypto a little while ago, helping that institutional push, obviously, into the name. All right, guys, I'm just gonna come out with it. I had a death in the family today, so I'm not going to be engaging in the chat, nor am I going to be extra exuberant. So you're going to have to excuse me for today, but we're going to put on the trades as best we can for you guys. And I'm in a new one right now. So before I get into the new one, I wanted to mention this one over here. We're done our trade right now on SYTA. This one did take out the high of the day into 887. It is tanking now into $8. I'm a buyer again at this one at 7.5. Let's see what it does with 8 first and foremost. If it loses 8, then the next level I'm looking at is 7.5. So we're done our trade with this one. A good one from 8.25 to 8.75. So we'll look to execute again on it if it is warranted. I'm still holding my position in Wolf, looking for that next profit taker at around 49. We'll have to see how that cookie crumbles. SERV's taken out multiple outs already. Nothing really to write home about as it bounces off the volume weighted average price. The reason I got into this one, I've been in it, I was looking at getting into it initially and I decided against it because, well, it had a lower low, lower high pattern that it couldn't shake. And got into VWAP, found buying at VWAP, candle of indecision manifested at 11, and then we got a trend break here on the trend line. So I said, all right, well, we took out previous area high. We also broke the trend line. Maybe this one's curling off the volume weighted average price. So my thinking with this one is I'm putting my stop prior or current bar low. That is $11.37. We're long at 52s. So we're risking a little bit here to see what we can get. I'm also looking at Pony. PONY, $20.10 high. The volume weighted average price is at 19. I'm an interested buyer at the volume weighted average price. It's going to have to prove itself, though. Good move up, very directional. Obviously encountering some resistance, as it typically does, at the $10 level. The whole dollar levels are areas of psychological support and resistance. So that's what I'm keeping my eye out now. That's the next possible entry for me. PONY at around 19 for that VWAP retracement. Likewise with SYTA at that 750 for that VWAP retracement, Joseph.
Yes, all right, brother. You're catching some love in the chat. Yeah, I mean, yeah, guys, we're in on some indecision prints here on Google on the 5-minute. You can see that we're below the volume weighted average price. We have this doji candle right here. Risk profile is now defined. If it cracks it to the downside, then we'll just hop out of this trade. Looking for a tap into the volume weighted average price. So yeah, I'm starting really small on this one. If it starts working and then we climb higher, it was briefly, but I still don't like it that the market is starting to turn to the downside, and we're still holding up here. So hopefully it's not lagging and then we get that dump past this candle. I mean, that signature isn't exactly what we want, but I mean, we pulled back for the past half hour or so. So I'm looking for a bounce and maybe a possible continuation of this trend. We can do some quick TA. This is the trend line. That's why I like this risk profile, is because now you can just get out once it cracks that. So that will be that there, guys. Good attempts. You want to stick to the names that are working for you. Bitcoin, until it sits on the opposite side, then I don't think there's going to be a long trade there just yet. I could be totally wrong, but you have to be patient on this. You can see how extended we are in the underlying. It's just another big move to the top side. I think when I looked at my phone yesterday, it was trading around 111,000, maybe even 12. I could be wrong. I forget the exact number, but yeah, you can see we tapped into 112 there. Okay, so yeah, we did get to those levels. Let's take a look at the daily. I mean, we're just going straight up here, guys, and I don't know if that's 100% sustainable. I mean, we have broken through that all-time high, which is a beautiful thing. We're now a couple grand over that, but look at that trend line, right? So I would suspect that we're going to get somewhat of a pullback, maybe aggressive, unless you get a short squeeze as well too, right? So we're just going to be prepared for whatever comes our way. We'll hop out of the trade. If there is a long setup. We'll look to take advantage of it. But right now, the market's slightly choppy, guys. You can see that AMD is kind of moving sideways. NVDA, it was strong earlier in the morning, now pulling back towards the volume-weighted average price. Tesla's still holding up relatively strong, but I think I want to see what we're being dragged down by here. We'll take a look at Microsoft, and I think it's Apple as well, too. So we'll take a look at these two names from an intraday standpoint to see what we got going on. So, yeah, you can see that it was participating with the overall market. You get that hefty pullback, and now you're heading back towards the opening price. And I'm pretty sure that Apple was weak today, too, but I wasn't paying attention. Okay, it's moving sideways, so not too much going on. I mean, we could break out, but I do believe we are slightly extended as well.
All right, out of SERV, stopped out there for a bit of a loss on the remaining amount in SYTA again, trying to extract profits at 8, tight stop below 790. So 788 goes, I get stopped out, but we already extracted about half the position. There we go, we'll get stopped out. For the remaining amount on SYTA, it's going to come back into volume weighted average price at 750. That's where I'll likely pick it up. So I'm going to go ahead with a dip trade right now at that level for that 750 drop, and we'll see if it pops into that area, coming down aggressively into the 760s over here, encountering some buying. Let's see if it bleeds a little bit more. If it doesn't, I can definitely pick it up using the hotkeys. Looks like it may continue to sell up a little bit, or sell down, excuse me, a little bit. Buyer in the low 60s at the moment. Unable to kind of shake that buyer, though, down below that 60s. Well, now we do, and we drop down a little bit more, but I didn't get the fill, so it came right into 55s, and it didn't fill. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to go long at this level, and I'm going to cancel the previous order. So we got 67s on now. We'll take some profits at 75 and 78. Let's see if we can get a bit higher over here. Anything below that 40 penny level gets me out of the position. So that's what we'll do on this one. There we go. We'll just wait over here for that amount. I'm going to give it a decent spread so that it doesn't miss my stop. I'm also keeping my eye on WOLF, continuing to trade well over here as it puts in higher highs and higher lows. Just got another profit taker there at 48s, waiting for the next one at 49s. We'll see if that one wants to come in or what the situation is. So waiting to see what SYTA does here. Does it find support at the volume weighted average price? And if it does it take it directly to the high side, or do we come right back down? So we got 67s on right now. It's showing me 67s on the level 2, 63 on the level 1, and I've layered my profit takers for a possible move up. 887 high on this one, so we'll see if this one can even get back above 8, but again, anything below that 40 penny level gets me out. SERV coming back into the volume weighted average price, as I see on my side chart there, about 11 1/3, 1135, give or take. So if that one wants to find support at VWAP and then make another move above, this time that 1160 area, I get back in. But until that 1160 area gets cleared, I'm likely to, not involve myself in this one, as it didn't hold that higher high, higher low profile initially. So SYTA, the one I'm focusing on right now, Joseph, up about 45, 46%, depending on what second you're looking at it.
Okay, nice. So we took a nice a little pop here on Google into the volume weighted average price. I only took 20% off there, guys. Now we're starting to pull back slightly aggressively. I don't like seeing this. If it comes back to my break even, I just have to accept the trade for what it is. I did tap into some IBIT. I like that we're back at the top side of this trend. But again, just starting relatively small. I need confirmation. I need the volume signatures to confirm to me that, like, hey, we're ready to move to the top side. And I'm not getting that right now. I mean, we're going to start really small, baby steps. We're sitting in this Google trade as well, too. I seen George in the chat was saying let's see if we can break through the VWAP here. Yeah, we got to be patient on this. I don't like the way the market is moving, to be honest with you, but I mean, it is a strong underlying. Palantir is just absolutely insane. Okay, Neil, I wonder if you're seeing what I'm seeing right now. It looks like Bitcoin may be on the backside of this trend right now. My only issue here is just look how little this volume is, right? Like, we want to see this volume really start to step up to confirm that we're going to possibly break out. So that's exactly why I'm starting slow. This could be a potential fake break, and I don't want to get caught in this because, again, I'm going against my rules here slightly. This is going to be my 4th attempt on Bitcoin itself, and Google's just not breaking through the volume weighted average price. So there it is, another big dump down. I took some off. Maybe 50% would have been more ideal because VWAP was the primary target, but it is what it is. So we'll be patient. We're going to focus on IBIT now as well too, guys. So we have 2 positions on the board. Let's see if we can start chipping away here. I mean, I mentioned where I'm standing from a daily perspective. I mean, from a risk profile as well too. So again, just chipping away. All right, I got to get out of this Google trade there as it's starting to pull back. It looks like it's rejecting VWAP relatively aggressive. If it does break through, then so what? I got a little bit off. I can't complain about that. But still sitting in this IBIT, looking to add into this opportunity.
All right, Joe. A good look there, man. Keep your eye out on that. In and out as SYTA, I added aggressively. You can't see it there at 7 1/3 on the dip, and then I extracted most of the profits into 760. So quick in and out, but I'm back right in because it's showing me a hammer candle at the volume weighted average price. We'll see if that means anything because it hasn't closed quite yet. It's got 2 more minutes before it closes, and I perceive a little bit of resistance over here. So along at 57s, can't really shake the seller in the high 50s to low 60s. So I'm going to keep my eye out on this one. Worried about a flush, right? Because we've got such an aggressive move down, and I'm really worried about the spread as well. It showed me 64s there. There we go. Now we're taking out all the levels, so we'll take out some more profits there as it pops up into the 60s. Now it's incumbent upon you to set up some resting profit takers because these ones, they don't spend that much time at their levels, right? So if they're not going to spend that much time, then you're either using hotkeys or resting orders. Guys, just make sure you're using sound risk management skills. There we go, right into the mid 70s we go again. Let's see if this hammer candle wants to continue to give us higher prints. Seller at 72 and 73 that we can't shake, at least for the moment. So that's an invitation for me to extract some more profits at this level. Still holding some here, guys. Decent amount of shares on SYTA, in and out, really generating a lot of liquidity for people today. So we'll see if they take advantage of that. We'll see again if we can if we can get right above that $8 level again. SYTA having trouble with 8, but showing me a hammer candle at the volume weighted average price, keeping me certainly interested at this level. Let's have a look at WOLF. Yeah, there we just got the print at 49s. Now we're waiting at 51s and then 53s. So that's a look there. Back to SYTA. We got a sell order there. There we go. We took out some more in the high 70s and mid 70s. Again, struggling to really get above that level though. And kind of a bizarre kind of looking tape at the moment over here. So I'm not really sure what to make of this. But in any event, I'm going to cancel some of these orders here because we only got a couple of profit takers left. And I'm moving now up my stop into 749. So we're going to defend that 7 penny level and then hope that it doesn't trigger, quite frankly. So there it is. Let's go ahead and throw that there so that we're only risking about 10 pennies now on the remaining amount. So we'll see what this one does. Let's go ahead and set up some profit takers at a bit of a higher level. This current candle is red at the moment, but it's still not making a lower low. So I'm going to wait at 82s for the next profit taker, and then I'm going to wait a little bit south of 8 in the mid 90s. So I've moved up my stop. So anything kind of below 50 pennies gets me out of the trade. But what I'm looking for here is the general hold of this level. Let's go back now to SERV, because this one is continuing to kind of hang around the volume weighted average price. Now, the way I perceive this one to be trading is the money fills are at or a little bit below the volume weighted average price. And that hasn't been how I was trading it. I was trying to trade it as a reversion trade off the volume weighted average price. So I'm going to go ahead and wait for this one at about 11 1/3. My thinking here is to get some money fills off VWAP. If it clears 1160 though, I'm going to look at it a different way. All right, so let's go ahead, throw an order now for 1135, and that's what we'll wait there. So it's about 10 pennies lower than where we're hanging out right now. Let's go back now to SYTA, coming right back into my entry. So it's still not a lower low, but this current 5-minute candle, in fact, doesn't have a higher high either. So we're in the 60s right now, but the current high of this candle is essentially the high of the previous candle, which is about $0.75. So that's not what I want to see. I want to see higher lows and higher highs, especially on the 5-minute chart where I'm trying to reduce noise. So I'm going to give this one a little bit more room, about 6 more pennies, give or take, and then we'll see how this one does. IonQ is rocketing up, guys. IonQ is, I perceive this one to be the best of the quantum names on the day. When you look at the charts, it's really getting extended away from the 10 exponential moving average, which is around 41.11. The current high of the day, 43.40. It just touched it, and now it's putting an inverse hammer candle. I'd be a buyer either at the 10 EMA or at VWAP. The VWAP is substantially lower than where we're trading right now. So my first area would definitely be the 10 EMA at right around $41, maybe $41.10, give or take. But IonQ, more expensive than Rigetti and QBTS, but certainly a lot better performing when you look at the chart pattern today. So IonQ definitely going to be one that interests me going into the rest of the day. So there we just lost SYTA on the drop down. We'll have to see if this one wants to pick back up, because it still hasn't made a new 5-minute candle to make a new low. So if this is going to be the area low, I don't mind picking it up off here. And then I can give it to the stop of around 731. So let me think about this. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And there we go. Popped right back up as I got in. So we'll see if we can get that print. Yep, there we go. We'll take those prints again. Okay, good. So let's see what we can get here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm giving this one into 725, right? Because that is the prior bar low. So let's go ahead and wait for that. And then we'll throw in our orders there. So we got 49s on, showing me 56. So let's extract some more profitability up here. Joe, what do you got?
Yeah, all right. So Gary B in the chat's like, yeah, getting crushed on NVTS. Any suggestion, guys? Yeah, I can give you the most simplistic suggestion there possibly is, and I'm about to implement that here on eBay. No matter what happens in the underlying, if you've taken too many stabs at it and you're continuously trying and it's not working for you, leave the stock alone, and that's what's exactly going to happen. I mean, I talked about it from a technical standpoint here on Bitcoin. If I'm wrong on this 4th and final attempt, and whatever happens after that, then so be it. All right, I took my stabs, I attempted my trades, I tried to execute my system, and I wasn't in sync with the underlying. So that is the best advice I could personally give you. If you're continuously trying something and it's not working, stop trying, right? Like, don't give up, obviously, right? But maybe just today it's not working for you. So that's my best suggestion for you, and that's exactly what's probably going to happen here in Bitcoin. We are sitting on the opposite side of the trend, which is a positive sign, but you can see the defense continuously come in here on the tape. I'll scroll down, and this is not what I want to see, right? Like, with a strong underlying, like, look at this defense. A clean flush on the bid, clean flushes, and then now when you run into these resistance zones, you take a massive move to the downside, and there goes Google, absolutely tanking. I'm glad that we got out of that trade here. I'll pull up here momentarily, and that's exactly why I get out break even. I've taken profit. Now I don't want to turn a losing trade into a winning one. Imagine I just held on to this. That would not be good. But I wonder if there's going to be some news on Google. So I'm sure Satya, if she finds anything on Google, she'll bring it to us immediately. But there you go, a big flush to the downside, a big, massive liquidity grab there, Sharif. The volume coming in and in the market. So you're seeing a little bit of a fluctuation here. But I'm still sitting in this trade. Small size here on IBIT. If it cracks some key levels, some key support levels, I'm out. That will be my 4th and final attempt on that. And then there's a basket of other stocks that we can look to trade. So if one stock isn't working out for you, don't get married to it. Take your attempts, take your stabs. It's either your timing was off or it's just you're not in sync with it. Find something else to trade, and that might be my case here in IBIT, Sharif.
I respect that, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we got back in at 49s, and I scalped all the way up into mid-60s, but now I am concerned. I'm out of the position. I flattened out, and I'll explain why. That is 3 candles that have defended VWAP, and each one has a successively lower high, but it also has a higher low. So it's compressing, but it's compressing at the wrong end of the range. When you're looking for a compression pattern to break out to the high side, it needs to be preceded by higher highs and higher lows. This one is preceded by lower lows and lower highs. As you can see, we got into that 887, and now we're kind of forming a bear flag, right? If you were to flip this kind of shape upside down and flip it up, what you would get is a bull flag. So this is a bear flag in my humble submission, okay? So that's why I got the hell out of there. We're profitable on it, but I won't be looking to set up until we're out of this bear flag formation. Again, this is the the flag component, right? That big move down from that 887, then hangs out at 730, and now we're compressing. Look at those higher lows, but lower highs in the flag component. Now, I could be wrong, right? I mean, it could end up moving higher. All I'm trying to do is just put the odds on my side. As I've mentioned many times, trading is kind of about putting the stats on your side. So I'm out of this one. And I won't be getting into SYTA until I see a fundamental trend change, one certainly that does not include a bull flag or a bull pennant. I'm long SCRV. As I mentioned, these are the money fills, guys. I knew that this would be the case. There we go. So we're going to extract some more profits all around here. What I'm doing right now is I'm looking to play the range on SCRV. So taking profits there. On SCRV. Now we're profitable on it after going a little bit negatory. Let's set up a little bit higher, though. We're going to go up 46. Now, I'm concerned as well about SCRV. Even though we're in the money on it, I got the money fill at 35. But every successive candle since that one on the 5-minute that manifested at 11:10 is a lower high. That's not what I want. I'm out of this trade, too. That is certainly not what I want. Yet another bear flag forming here on SCRV. I mean, this is not all bear flags and bull flags look alike. I mean, this is a bull flag right here. Boom. And then sideways consolidation. Boom. This flag ends up giving up the ghost. I perceive this to be a bear flag off that $12 high day. And now we're consolidating with lower lows, with lower highs at the volume weighted average price. That ain't for me. It's just not for me. So I'm out of that. I got a bit of a range trade on that. We'll stay profitable and we'll get the hell out of there. WOLF continues to go up. So we're taking all the prints that we need there. Where is that at? There it is. So we've taken everything except that one print to the high side waiting at 53. So I've got everything I've wanted to off Wolf except the fact that I haven't been adding at the 10 EMA on the 5. And that's where it's been defending every single time. Now, we're in a bit of a different position right now on WOLF, just given where we are in price. That $1.50, as I've mentioned many times, can be an area of psychological resistance. So even though we are above it with the high of the day at that $1.53, I am concerned that this is the end of the good times are coming for this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to not take too much more out until we can kind of discern what's happening here. Are we going to take that that 1.5 decisively, or what's it going to be? Like, look at us, just selling at 149. Here we go. Now we're at 151 with 150 showing up on the ask. By no means are we at the day's high. So what I was trying to say is if we get above that 150 and clear it, and then I don't have to worry about it as a psychological resistance anymore, look at this. Look where the money fills are. They're all a penny or two, maybe below the 10 EMA. So that's where I'm going to be putting my dip trades now on WOLF. If we clear that $1.5 decisively, I'll be looking to add into this position on retracements a little bit below the 10 EMA. Now, the issue with the 10 EMA is, guys, is that it is a dynamic level. It's constantly changing as the price evolves, as a new candle forms on the chart. The 10 EMA and every other EMA will move to account for the new position. So if you're going to base your orders on where the 10 EMA is, you've got to peg it or be constantly changing it. So keep that in mind. It's not a static level, and neither can be your orders. So keeping my eye on that one as it looks to bounce back off. Nothing much else for me to talk about other than the fact that these quantum names are insanely strong, and they're not giving up the ghost at all. None of them. QBTS, RGTI, IONQ, none of the three, none of the latter three has even printed below the 10 EMA. Not wick, close, or otherwise. Every single print, every single price level on IONQ, on RGTI, and QBTS is above the 10 EMA. It's very strong. It feels very buy program-esque right now. So I'm going to be definitely looking for that one, Joseph.
Yeah, good look there, man. I mean, I was looking at the quantum space for the past couple of days. We had a solid day in QBTS, but then the other 2 days, they didn't do too much for my liking. And then here you go, you get just waiting everybody out, and then like what Sharif said, you get that buy program. But guys, we did have some Google news, so thank you for Brando for sending me this, sending Sharif and I this. DOJ is scrutinizing structure of Google's deal with Charter AI, so a civil probe in its early stages, no one accused of wrongdoing. Google faces DOJ antitrust probe over deal for AI technology. Google has no ownership stake in, I guess, I'm assuming there, Charter AI. So yeah, that's what we're looking for. So another probe into Google here, guys, and you've seen that volatility spike come into the market. That's going to be this one exactly. So there you go. And thank you, Darwin, for also telling me that as well, too. So much appreciated, guys, on that front. So some more antitrust for Google there, guys. So yeah, tough look. But I mean, it's been breaking out, so we can't complain. That comes out, I guess, obviously convenient timing, I guess, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so we're still sitting in this IBIT trade here, guys. Oh, and I watched some of the Google conference as well yesterday, too. I liked a lot of things that Gemini are bringing out. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we'll send it off to Sate.
Go ahead.
Yes, so I have more context to the Google news. So Google and Character AI sued after teen dies following interaction with Game of Thrones themed chatbot. So Google is really under fire with this, and so we can see this selling off a little bit here. And so AI startup Character AI must face a wrongful death lawsuit filed by a Florida mother who claims the chatbot encouraged her teenage son to take his own life. Back to you.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see there at all.
No, you don't want to go down that road. No. So yeah, that's not good at all, guys. So yeah, I mean, here it is. We were strong earlier in the day. Now we're getting that news as well, too. So you can see the weakness displayed. The SPY is a lot choppier, I find, than the Qs here. I mean, both of them are kind of trading in sync. But you get this nice spike above the pre-market highs, and unfortunately, you just don't have the ability to hold it, right? The volume's not there. It can't be sustained. So you just come right back into the middle of that range, and you can see we're just hovering around the volume-weighted average price. A lot of these 5-minute candles overlapping, and for me, that's honestly, I'm a breakout trader, right? You guys see, I try to take advantage of breakouts. I use the volume-weighted average price as my line in the sand, and I look for the deviation of that. When I have choppy days like this is not when I'm at my best. This is not the market where I kind of excel at. So what you have to do, and I'm just speaking out loud, is just size down a little bit. I know it gets funny, like putting on shares and everything like that, but if the current market sentiment isn't in your favor, then that's when you just need to cool off a little bit. And then if things do happen to work out, then you also give yourself enough risk so you're not gun shy and you have the ability to put on some more size when that opportunity arises. So for me right now, it's just scale back a little bit, get a couple wins under the belt, and if the market decides to find some orderly price action, we'll look to take advantage of that.
All right, here we're back in SYTA. Let's see if this one wants to hold up. It's getting an aggressive bid with higher highs and higher lows. We're long at 88s. Let's see if we can kind of move up at least, into that mid-90s. There we go. We're taking all the prints now. So let's take out some more over here as this one zigs and zags. Not sure what's going on with my sell orders. All right. I don't know why they're not coming in. I don't know what the hell is going on over here. Are we?
I did. Maybe let me try an execution.
I got out the entire thing.
Oh,
it's okay. It's my mistake.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So let's watch here as this one zigs and zags. If it can clear 8 decisively, I'm gonna get back in. Okay. So this one is losing 8. So I don't feel too bad about fat fingering into that one. Maybe I was a little gung ho there. Too quick to jump in. I saw a bit of a trend change. I saw a clearing of this level. I anticipated a move back above 8. Maybe we still get it. We really haven't dropped too far below this current candle right now. The previous candle, this is the 1 minute, by the way, guys. Sorry, I screwed that up. I meant to put the 5 minute. I was just looking at the prints. So anyway, this level over here, 8. Look at this candle. This candle will be a bamboozler, right? It takes out the 3 prior bar highs. This candle over here, that candle, and this candle clears all of them, and then it drops a little bit down. The current candle that we're in right now, the 1140 candle on the 5, is a bullish engulfing candle. At least it currently is. I mean, it still has 5 more minutes to close, so who knows? What I'll be waiting for here is a decisive break of 8. I think if SYTA can really get above 8, we have another shot at taking out that 887 high. Especially having broken that lower high trend, and the candles that all breach VWAP all have higher highs and higher lows. Or sorry, higher lows, excuse me. That's what I meant to say. So here we go, right back into the 90s again. We're still not clearing $8 though. So I'm gonna pack my patience on this one. I don't wanna jump into it too quickly and make a mistake, but I'm definitely interested in this one. It's up 52%. It's done a lot of volume, 37 million and change, but it's got to set up in the right way. I mean, obviously the money fills were where I was getting in over here at 740, but we didn't hold it all the way to 8, so that's my problem there. Let's have a look at WOLF. We continue to take prints, just took 56s out. I've layered in at 58 and 60, so we'll see if this one wants to keep going. WOLF over 21.5%, looking to go 22 here. Here comes 157. If we can clear the sellers at 157, obviously we'll be at 8, and then we'll see how that one goes. Rigetti and IonQ as well, I want to mention, are pulling back in a little bit. So this might be an opportunity. Rigetti is at the 10 EMA. IonQ not quite yet. The 10 EMA on IonQ about 42.10. Rigetti, about $0.75. So this could be yet another entry right now on one of these names. Now here's the deal. If these two candles close the way they are on QBTS, IONQ, and RGTI, it'll be the first, believe it or not, the first 2-candle ret setup on any of these names since about 1020. And those 2-candle ret setups at 1020 were a lot smaller, relatively speaking, than the ones we have now. We're at the 10 EMA right now on Rigetti. We're awfully close to the 10 EMA right now on IonQ. IonQ is a bit more parabolic of a name, so keep your eye out on that. Especially having been up a lot more percentage-wise than any of the other three. Rigetti getting a little bit of a defend here. I'm likely to trade Rigetti as opposed to IonQ just so I can manage risk a little bit more, but I need proof that it's going to hold up at the 10 EMA. So it's at the 10 EMA as we speak. Whether or not it continues in that direction to the downside, we'll have to wait and see. I'm not going to be punching in just because it touched the 10 EMA. I'm going to need to see a little bit more. We are getting a little bit of a defend here. To be fair, we are getting some buy orders in the low to mid 70s, a little bit in the low 70s, a little bit in the mid 70s. So it is finding some support at that area. So others are seeing what I'm seeing. Whether or not we get a bit of a deeper retracement too. So here's the deal. The current candle low on this one is 72s. I'm going long. Let's go ahead and wait at 68s, and then we'll give this down to 60. Let's see if we can extract some profits on this bad boy. There we go. We're already moving up. Not bad look. Let's see if we can take out a little bit more over here, and then we're going to layer our orders possibly into the high side to take out some more. So RGTI, my first foray with these quantum names today. Hopefully it won't be any malfeasance on this one. Let's keep an eye though on WOLF because we just took out all my prints. So Wolf, absolute rocket on the day. Fantastic look for Wolf. I appreciate you, Joseph. Just need to take out some more profits here on Rigetti. Let's see if we can take out some more there. Back to WOLF, guys. I'm going to set up at 69s on this one. Let's see if we can extract some profits there, Joseph. Let's see what we do.
That's a face slapper on that one there. All right, guys, we got a shekels here, Sharif. 69.90 shekels here, my guy. Guys, what's the deal with warrant tickers like SYTA versus SYTA? WCSK, CLSKW, etc. Do they somehow imitate the OG stock or what? Also, Wolf is filing Chapter 11. Is there a future for this stock as a long or game over? Great question. And to be honest with you, I'm glad that so Brandon sent me an answer, and I seen Havana Woody also answered this question because to be honest with you, I didn't know. So warrants are tradable rights to buy stocks, not the stock itself. They get their own ticker like SYTAW because they're bought and sold separately from the common stock. All right, so it's a different offering. Warrants have distinctive value, strike prices, and expiration dates differing from the actual shares. Okay, so it kind of sounds like an options contract there for me when I was reading through that. So you have a specific strike that you own that, so you have the rights to it at a specific price, and then they also expire. So that sounds a lot like an options contract to me there, Sharif.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know if
And you know who else deals with them? The OG Darwin, always looking at warrant contracts. Constantly, yeah. Even for these small cap gappers, he lets me know. He's like, hey, the warrants are up 130%, but the equity is only up 50 or whatever. Yeah.
So what is, okay, so with that example, what you just told me, other than it kind of moving not necessarily in correlation with the underlying asset, what is the primary benefit of trading a warrant?
I don't know what the benefit is, but I understand that it's more of a debt obligation than having an equity.
Okay, all right. So, so it's like a debt obligation. They issue it, you buy it at this price, at said price, it expires at X time, etc., and you own whatever
least I
strike
think
price.
so,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay, so yeah, that's interesting. Maybe I'll do a little bit more of a dive into that because that's interesting. So there you go, Nimrod. As for Wolf, I couldn't tell you. You see Sharif's trading that right now, but we're getting the ball rolling here in IBIT, and I'm using fractions of what I had on yesterday, guys. It obviously isn't the best feeling as you want to push as much size as possible, but I'm also going against my rules on that fourth attempt. We're now running into these pre-market zones. We were curling over. We held some levels relatively well, but it was the grind that got me here. So now we're just starting really small, just chipping away. I might have missed the opportunity to add heavy, but I don't believe we're going to get that massive breakout or kind of that short selling covering kind of squeeze type PA that we've seen and experienced yesterday. So I think this will be more of a slow grind, but I'm glad that we're on the opposite side of this trend here in Bitcoin. Let's see if we can break these pre-market highs.
Well said, Joseph. All right, Rigetti, guys, we're doing it here. We picked it up at the 10 EMA, and here comes 13. So I took a one quick beak wetter above 13. I've got one exit left, and I'm going to leave that exit for a high of day break. Currently, the high of the day is 13.10. We're at 13. It was a very, very consistent candle between the one that manifested on IonQ and Rigetti. Not so much QBTS, though. So let's have a look at what I mean. So look at the candle that manifested right there on IonQ, a bit of a hammer candle that closed red, to be fair. Very similar candle that we saw on a Rigetti, which is where I'm pointing right now. However, IonQ, we were still getting red. This one is still selling off. And you have a lower high on this one, whereas on Rigetti you have a higher high, and on IonQ you have a higher high. So there is some selling coming into the quantum names now. Rigetti seems to have weathered it better than QBTS. IonQ continuing to sell off. So now if this candle is to close this way on IonQ, at the current time right now with the current price, that'll be a 3-candle pullback now. So what I'm going to do here for Rigetti, I'm going to move my stop up to break even. Simple as that. I'm going to give it 1 penny. I'll give it to 78. And so we're long at 79, obviously. So I'll give it to 78. And if it comes back down into that level, then I'm out. Simple as that. I just want to cover my trade on Wolf in 1 second because we're done this trade. So we just took out 69s on Wolf. That is the high of the day, $1.69. HOD now on WOLF. That's where we're out. This thing is up now 30%. It's very consistent, very directional. But that's the good news. What's the bad news on this one? Well, I use the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 as my informal gauge of overbought and oversold conditions. Similarly to how some people might use the RSI or MACD, I just happen to use the 10 EMA on the 5 for that. So how do I do it? What's my move? Well, I look for a pronounced move from the price action away from the price level of the 10 EMA. And there's no set formula for that. It's more of a visual thing, right? Rather than, a scientific formula. So when we get really extended away from the 10 EMA on the 5-minute chart, what I do is I start anticipating a pullback. And I typically don't want to punch in at those levels until we get a closer retracement into the 10 EMA. And then let's see if the buying comes in. So this one is getting a little extended. It's got a topping tail candle into 169. This current candle kind of engulfed by the prior one. If it prints a new low, like this current candle that's manifesting at 1150, if it breaks anything below 160, I'd be anticipating a retracement maybe into that 150 area for a hold. Now, we saw 150 act as a bit of a resistance level. Look at that flat top break. Now, we had breached it once momentarily over here at 1030, but that was quite fleeting. It wasn't until this candle at 1135 where we decisively broke it. So my next look here for WOLF will be that $1.50 area, maybe a little bit higher than the $1.50. And as I mentioned earlier with WOLF, I perceive the money fills to be a shekel or two or a penny or two below that 10 EMA, right? So that would probably put me at a $1.51, $1.52 dip buy. So that's my thinking there. Now let's go back to Rigetti. Because I guess we're close to getting stopped out of there as it comes back into the 80s. As I mentioned, though, I've moved my stop 1 penny below my entry. We've only got one out left on this one, so I'm going to give myself some time. to see what we can get on this one, Joseph.
Yeah, good look there, brother, on the Rigetti trade as well, too, on that Wolf. So 2 good trades on there. So yeah, I mean, we got that move up, guys, and then now we're coming right back into this range here on Bitcoin. So you can see that defense is clearly there. So I don't know if it's going to be in play anymore today. We had that attempt of the break of the downtrend, and then you can see that the volume is also starting to pick up on the defensive side as well too. So that's it, right? Like we don't want to continually. What's that saying? I don't even know. Beat a horse or something until it's something. I don't even know how it goes. But yeah, I'm not trying to milk a stone here if it's not offering what I think it could. So there's going to be plenty of other names. I mean, the quantum space is hot, and if we break through the volume weighted average price, I'll feel no way about getting out of this with like literally a paper cut, right? Because it's not doing what I want it to do, and I just want to continue to just have risk on just for that opportunity to come. And if it doesn't, then by all means, you walk away with a little bit of a red day, and that's beat a, no, I don't think it's like, is that how it is? Yeah, beat a dead horse. Yeah, there it is. But I just went with milk a stone. So, yeah, that's what I was, yeah, it's good enough. Exactly. So either one, you're not getting what you want out of it. So, yeah, that's just what I was getting at. But here we go. A nice big rebound here in this underlying. One thing to note is that the volume is starting to pull back on that selling pressure, 5-minute time frame, that is. So if we can crack through this 63.45 level, then we might be okay. If not, we break view up to the downside. Adios, muchachos on that one, all right? So because, again, we've got to stick to the rules, and we don't want to be just continuously trying something that may not be working. And that's when you have your worst days, right? It's like when you're just being stubborn, you're not willing to accept what the, yeah, I know, sorry guys, you're not willing to accept what the price action is, etc. And then that's when you just wipe away all your weeks or a month's worth of profits. It's just when you're not allowing the price action to dictate what you're gonna do. Satya, what do you got for us?
Yes, so there is breaking news. Kraken opening digital tokens of Apple, Tesla, and NVIDIA to people outside the U.S. So Kraken's new product, X Stocks, will launch on the Solana blockchain and offer more than 50 tokenized stocks and ETFs, including Apple, Tesla, and NVIDIA. So they are going to be offering it on a 24/7 basis where, you can trade stocks from 9:30 to 4, but this will be 24/7 resembling cryptocurrency trading. So that is very interesting. Back to you.
I think that's interesting. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I think I got to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I think, it's 2025, bro. Why don't we have 24-hour trading everywhere?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like 20, if not 24/7,
I don't know.
24/5.
I don't know.
At least
24/5. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that.
How difficult is it to have some computers running, dude? I mean,
like, for me, it's just like, okay. I think it's good to have the break.
A social thing.
Yeah,
like a societal thing.
Yeah. I think it's good to have the break in between. I mean, I think that trading is borderline addictive, regardless of what it is, right? I don't need to be up. I don't need to be up in the middle of the night being like, oh, come on, break out. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like I'm happy with the 4.
I respect
and
that.
then you come in the next day, right? You got all of Wall Street participating as well too, so you can kind of, if a stock's moving, you'll get the massive participants moving the underlying. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case if it's 24/7.
No, you bring up a really good point. I mean, to be fair, obviously, society has addiction issues in many things. We don't need to add another one.
No.
I get that completely. But on the other side of the coin, a big headline comes in. You want to punch in to take advantage. You can't.
Yeah.
But somebody else can.
That's a very valid point as well too. And honestly, full disclosure. Okay, cool. We'll get that as soon as I finish this point here, Andre. So I have a good friend of mine, and he likes to sports gamble, etc. And one morning in our group chat, I wake up to a text, and everybody's like, haha, laughing. He's like, boys, I spent $5,000 on the slots on his phone. Yeah, he just hulked out. He's like doing digital slots on his phone, and it's so not like him to do anything like that. Yeah, and I'm like, yo, that's exactly why you don't need 24-hour trading.
It's a good point.
Next thing you know, you're out partying, and it's like, okay, news headline on Apple. You're a couple beers deep and drinks deep. All right, let me punch heavy on that. Tanks on you, and the next thing you're like this, but. Yeah, Andre.
I got you.
Play it, brother. Can't full size that?
For much.
All that money you just made there, all gonna come to me.
At 11:59,
Yes, sir.
your DMs are going to be exploded. I will start off with happy birthday, immediately followed by where is my money?
Bro,
Insane.
hold on,
I
hold
love
on.
it. Hold
You
on.
got to change the rules midway. I'm giving myself an extension.
No, listen, I'm a fair businessman.
I was gonna get more money.
No.
Yes, that's why we changed
No,
it. Yes, it is.
Money. Let's go. He doesn't even know what to do. They're filming stuff live. Listen, look at this. 9:31. We're in it. We're doing it live. I'm still in this trade, and I will be for the rest of the day. Let's go. 9:31. I need this clip. I need a YouTube short. I don't ask for much. That's it. You don't gotta play it again. Yeah, there we go, guys. Go check it out on X and on YouTube. Sharif and I, the new hottest YouTube short out, Sharif, featuring you and I, guys. So go check that out on Trader TV Live. We're having fun with that one. Bitcoin 125K. Let's go. I seen Ramin said, "Are you Team Sharif or are you Team Joe?" So guys, go check out that video, that YouTube short on our channel there. So that was a fun one. I enjoyed that one for sure.
All right, guys, I'm in MLGO, traded this one yesterday, and we're back in again today. So it's pulling into the 20 exponential. It's a little bit below $2, but I felt that this one has breached the 20 multiple times today, and it seems to be, I should say, where the money fills are. So I'm long 199. It's showing me 199. It's an ugly candle that I'm currently in, though. It's an inverse hammer candle with a topping tail and a lower the body's at the lower end of the candle. So what I've done is I've given it to the not prior bar low, but the 11:35 a.m. candle low. So that takes me down to $1.91. So if it loses $1.91, we're out. We'll see what we get there. I've layered some orders above 2. This one has a tendency to spike up sometimes, as you can see. What it's done at around, let's just say 1040 again at 1055, yet again over here at 1140. So it has the equal amount of ability to spike down as it does to spike up. So that kind of puts it puts the risk both ways over here. So we'll see what we get here. In at 199. Let's see if we can get something to the high side. Nothing really for me right now on anything else, but I'm keeping my eye on WOLF because it's continuing to move back up. So I'm out at 169. Bless you, Neil. And here it is again at $1.69, up 32%. Very strong. But I don't think I'm going to punch in here, guys. And on top of that, it didn't come back into that 10 EMA. It did hang out, so it consolidated for 3 candles, which is 15 minutes, give or take, which is good enough because it allows the 10 exponential to catch up with the price action. And that's, again, important to me because I'm using the 10 exponential on the 5 here as an informal gauge of overbought and oversold. So it doesn't have to pull back into the 10 EMA, it can stay sideways, which is what this one did. I wasn't alive to that, and so I missed that. Full stop, okay? So I'm not in it at the moment. I'm just an observer right now, but I'm still in, what's it called, Rigetti. And as I told you guys, I moved up my stop a penny below my entry, but Rigetti now coming back into the mid to low 90s. We're still not above 13, nor are we really decisively above the prior bar candle here. This is the 1 on Rigetti. Allow me to flip to the 5, zoom in a little bit. So here we go. Now we're moving into 13 here on Rigetti again, but being met with some selling as we expected. Go ahead, Satya.
So right now we're doing happening now. So right now we're looking at the QQQs. We are seeing higher lows on the triple Qs here. So we can see that we're approaching the 200 EMA at the 516.55 level. So this will be a key pivotal level, whether we reject off of that 200 EMA or if we hold and support it. Another key level that we're looking at is 517.56. So that is the high of the day today. So look out for those 2 levels today. And then going next, we're going to the SPY. So the SPY is a similar look to the triple Qs. So we do have the higher lows happening here. We are approaching that day's high, 585.29. So that is something that we're looking out for, whether we reject off that level or if we blast through that level. And then we have the 200 EMA sitting here, 587.55. So watch out for that level for a possible rejection. See you then.
It's your lesson of the day, everybody. And this is going to be a relatively simple one. But if you remember, we always talk about whoops. Well, that's actually pretty key. Because the flat bottom break is an indicator, Sharif. And we always say, if you're going to use an indicator, make sure the stock that you're using it on or the setup you're using it on, it's respecting said indicator. Now, for me, drawing a trend line is not necessarily, you can't just have it in your platform and it automatically draws trend lines for you, like having VWAP or respecting a 50-period moving average or something like that. But you do still want to trade that setup, like a trend break or a trend dip buy, on something which respects that price action. And the reason why it's lesson of the day is you would have seen me not do much of anything at the open, and then all of a sudden it's like this setup and that setup, and we're like, I'm taking this break and I'm taking that break of a trend. The first thing that I traded today was CoreWeave. And it's the cleanest trade because it gave you, it was a VWAP trade when it broke to the downside. Simple to the low. But if I go back to what I said in the afternoon yesterday, that was, and again, I said it again this morning, I went 2 for 2 on CoreWeave, getting a couple of perfect reversion shorts. But what I noted was, yeah, this is really good at trend reverses, but they're better when it reverts the trend to the upside than the downside. Like, these are good trend breaks down, but like when it breaks the trend and goes up, they're like they happen so quick and they're very clean and it goes right. Like, you can literally hold it to the high without even worrying about those trend reversions. Like, they're so good. So what I had said was, yeah, you want to play trends on this stock, but you also want to favor them to the long side as long as it's bullish. So the reason why I'm making it the lesson of the day is partly because I didn't. In this particular case, you can see, again, I shorted it, had a successful short, and the second it was time to get out and it broke trend, it was an even better long. And then look at it again here. Like, maybe not the cleanest in the world. I'll grant you this is not the cleanest break because you might not have been able to get that long, but you could have had the long consolidating over it. So identify first, does it respect what you're looking for? That would be, does it do good mean reversions off of the trend lines that you're able to draw? Answer for CoreWeave, yes, and then I should be identifying that it's better long than it is short, and then all of a sudden we'd be having a fantastic day. If I was mean reverting this long, I'd have 2 huge trades that I could have 10 losses on any stock, and it would be good. But instead, I have a solid win that's not big enough to cover up some of the losses. So that's the first thing you want to do. The other thing that you have to be able to do, I mean, ultimately, is like try not to get FOMO, because a lot of people would have seen this. I tried a couple of times at Tesla at the 340 level, and that's, again, trading off of a level is very different. If you're trading it off of 340, I wanted to get rid of this trend line in real time just to make it cleaner. If you're trading off the 340 level, you take a couple of shots. I had one successful in the 3, but then it breaks higher, 40 doesn't hold. Okay, fair enough. That's the level we're waiting for. But the other side of that coin is, well, when it did give me the trend break, it was actually pretty good, and I missed it. And you've got to understand, like, if it's respecting the trend up and you miss this break into the downside, the best I could do in a situation like this is have no part of it over here. I've done this before. We're like, oh, 340 doesn't work. It gives you the pullback to 38. Well, let's immediately take the 40 again. Well, you got to stay away from that trade because it's still now holding higher lows and all, like, not even seeing VWAP, all that good stuff. And I could easily have just been back into the short here and gotten really stubborn about it and made an absolute mess of the day, but you try not to. So you've got to first identify, is it respecting what you're looking for and which direction is going to be better? And I'll give you one more price action play for this because I think this makes a heck of a lot of sense. And I'm going to go to QBTS on this. Is it respecting the thing you're looking for? Okay. So I go to QBTS, and it's my first trade of the day on the stock. It's in an upward trend. And what did I just say about mean reversions with the trend on CoreWeave? Whether this works or not on QBTS, usually I'd stare at this all day long trend. It's just green, green, green. Unless you have this breakout here, your first dip buy comes in at $17 and then hold and then hold. So when it tests this trend line, usually I'll be sitting here doing absolutely nothing but waiting for it to be a short. That's just how I roll. But this time, win, lose, or draw, respecting what I saw on CoreWeave, I'll be long this first into the high. And if it breaks down underneath, I'll reverse it. Absolutely. I'll reverse it into VWAP and then maybe hold some into $17. But the other side of the equation lies too. You've got to respect not just your overall plan or what indicator you're using or trend line or whatever it might be, but the best way to execute off of it. And CoreWeave taught me that even though it worked shorting those every single time, it was flat out better using reversions long or trend holds to the long side because it was a bullish stock. Just because you win on a trade doesn't mean it was the best that you could have done. Like there's no, well, I just typed in QBTSing and I wanted to go back to CoreWeave. Yeah, great. We got $1 on our first scalp trade. We got $1 again. We got $3 there. That's great on CoreWeave. But does that mean that I traded CoreWeave well? Like, what would you say? Is there a single person out there that would be celebrating the fact that you won in a short on CoreWeave today? And you didn't see me celebrate it this morning, and you won't see me celebrate it now, and you won't see me celebrate it when I'm on the train. Because the way I see it, I have a trading strategy which set up a long that was 3 times better. And I didn't use it. And then the worst part about it is it set it up again twice as good as a short, and you don't see any executions there. So win, lose, or draw, I'm going to take a shot on QBTS in that same range because you're always trying to get, as Joe says it, 10% better or 2% better, whatever it is. I don't care what it is. You're just trying to get better. And that means being highly critical of your decisions regardless of your P&L. And you can be P&L green on something, but you know that you should have done a heck of a lot better on it, and you've got to be willing to acknowledge that. For myself, it's being more effective. When you have an indicator or like trend lines or whatever it might be, it's your ability to trade off of them that's the other side of the equation. Yes, great, they can indicate that you should be doing something at that price, but the something that you should do, the market's going to tell you. And it's been telling me that I should be using these outs as longs. I just won't bring myself to do it on CoreWeave. So that's your lesson of the day. I hope it makes sense for everybody. Try to get that 1% better. And come on, Bitcoin. Now would be the time to break out the top, because I'm sitting in the same thing as you, Joe.
Very much, Neil. Excellent lesson. And yeah, catch Neil every day around that noon hour. Neil's lesson of the day, everybody. All right, guys, I'm still in micro algo looking for that general area hold below the 20. It's got a 1, 2, 3, 4, now 5 candle red setup at this level. It's also given up the ghost at that double top 198. The volume weighted average price is at 190. I've actually got my stop a little bit above that volume weighted average price to this prior bar low, this one right here. So we'll see how this one ends up doing. I got 97s on at the moment. It's showing me 95s. It just lost a bit and I just got stopped out. So there it is. Micro algo below volume weighted average price now. But this is kind of where the money fills are, as you can see in the pre-market there. It did lose VWAP. So let me debate whether or not I want to get into this one at this level. This is an aggressive sell order that's coming in here into the mid 80s. MLGO just lost $2, lost VWAP. This is the area where I'm going to go long over here. So we're going to go 179 down into 170, and we'll give it some time there to possibly recover. We'll see if we can get something back on this one over here. I've seen this story before with Micro Algo, though, so that's the situation. I'm throwing in my orders for a possible move back into the volume-weighted average price. That's my thinking here. What's it called? Rigetti didn't stop me out. Rigetti is very consolidative now, below 13. So this is quite interesting what Rigetti is doing here. So it's just kind of very sideways, moving into that $13 area. What's up?
Individually wrapped cookies.
Oh, that's
Man,
nice.
what kind? Is that an oatmeal there?
Oh, it's not bad. Yeah, I know you're all
like that one there.
Joe, you like oatmeal cookies?
Yeah. That's the only cookie I'm gonna go for there,
There you
brother.
go.
Is the oatmeal.
All right. They're back there. All right, guys, we're taking out some prints here on MLGO. So got stopped out, but I do like the money fills below VWAP. So a couple outs already. Let's see if we can extract some more to the high side over here. I'm waiting at 92s, 94s, and 98s. So that's my look on MLGO. We're 0 for 1. Hopefully we'll go 1 for 1 on this one and make some money back. QBTS really nicely kind of curling here in a way that I'm not seeing Rigetti do at the moment. But also Rigetti didn't get into the 20, whereas QBTS did. The 20 exponential moving average on the 5, that's what I mean. So you're kind of seeing that rounded effect still below highs, while Rigetti is kind of consolidated very sideways. You're going to seeing that curling effect on both IonQ and QBTS. And again, I still have to side with IonQ as the best looking of the bunch. Look at this one, holds the 10 very well and then curls. Whereas Rigetti did hold the 10, right? Didn't really lose the 10, but not curling, very sideways. QBTS, on the other hand, lost the 10 quite substantially and got almost into the 20 and is now curling. So IonQ more expensive than the others, but certainly a lot better of a look chart pattern-wise and price action-wise, I'll submit to you guys. So despite the fact it's well, I'd say more than double the price of QBTS, certainly more than double, almost triple Rigetti, it's doing quite well here, Joseph.
All right, yeah, guys, let's go. I added once again here. I am getting a little aggressive. Somebody never said like quit with the can't and just learn to code X. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I appreciate. Oh, Thomas, I appreciate that very much. Yeah, I've typed in some code. I remember with my old hotkeys, I learned a little bit about writing scripts for hotkeys and everything along those lines. But I am nothing compared to the individuals behind me in the algo room. Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to start. But I appreciate those kind words, man. That means a lot for sure. But yeah, we'll get into that. I watched some videos on it, like Python. I think there's Python and something else. I forget what the other one name is, so it shows you how much I know about coding and everything. But yeah, I mean, and to add to that point, I seen someone in the chat say, would I run an algo if there was 24/7 trading? Sure, I would just maybe get my boy Jose to write me up a good one and then see how that one worked out. But yeah, other than that, we're discretionary trading right now. IBIT, let's see. I'm getting aggressive here for this break. I am anticipating, guys, and I'm looking at the 5-minute time frames, and I'm just like, Joseph, if this comes against you, be prepared to get out and accept the fact that this thesis is not working. Look at this volume by time, all right? So you can see that we're stair-stepping down with the attempt of trying to break out. You want to see the inverse of that, all right? So you want to see us start to stair-step up, right? So that means there might be more participants looking to get involved and not necessarily stair-step down, okay? So we are playing with fire. But that's okay. When you play with fire, you do have the potential to get burned. But we got our fire resistant gear on, right? And that is going to be our stop losses and just getting out of the trade when we're supposed to. So that's the game plan. We cracked through some of these pre-market highs. I think we're in for a good solid move to the top side. Again, if we break 63.51, then we might head into the 63.70 area. But let's pull up the options chain to see what we got going on with IBIT. If there's any overhead resistance around these specific areas that we're looking at, and then we're continuously bumping our heads into. So 63, 64, nothing crazy, to be honest with you guys. I see more size at 62. So whoever's short those calls is already underwater. So we're past that liquidity stage. Now we're into 63, 64s, but only 11,000 contracts at both of those strike prices. But then at 65, we have 20,000. That's still not as big as what we got at 62 with 47,000. Maybe we do continue to get this ball rolling. I mean, Bitcoin's been trading significantly well for the past month or so, over a month now probably. So again, a nice big move to the top side, a break of that all-time highs. We experienced it yesterday. So maybe we get that squeeze, Sharif.
Yeah, I wanted to mention also, guys, NVTS. That's the one that we put on the watch list today. It has an NVIDIA adjacent headline. And it's up 127%, but it kind of breached my rule about the volume weighted average price, so we didn't really look at it. As you can see there, this one was moving in the aftermarket. I don't know on news or what. 415 was when we got the move. We didn't breach the pre-market high, nor did we take out the aftermarket high. So you got a double top there in the aftermarket yesterday around 650. This morning, right at 4 a.m., we get into 657, and then we sell off quite aggressively. We were kind of trying to curl up there in a VWAP, so there was nothing for me on this one. It's still up 125% on the day, so it's likely going to show up on your scanner as one of the #1 gappers, but when you look at the price action, it's a bit of a sell-off. Likewise with the volume profile down into the right, really losing the volume there. I mean, it's got good amount of volume, no question about it, but the volume is dwindling. I don't think many people would disagree with that. So I'm less likely to want to involve myself at all in it. It'll have to get above that volume weighted average price for me to get involved. Currently, volume weighted average price is at that 4 2/3. So yeah, a little bit of ways from that current price action. Still in MLGO over here. Took another profit taker there quick at that 189 and 190. Let's see if we can continue to move up here. See if the money fills are just a little bit below that volume weighted average price, and then we can kind of move up into 2. I've layered my orders. We'll see how this one ends up doing. QBTS curling up quite nicely now, guys. It has been kind of take your pick about which these quantum names is in vogue at any one moment. Sometimes it's Rigetti. I've made very clear Ionic, IONQ looking like the best, but now it's QBTS's turn here. Fantastic look off that 18 1/4, 18 1/5 bottoming tail candle, and here comes $19, 18.85, 18.45 with that 19.13 high of the day. So this one looks like it might be on one, looking to curl up possibly into that high. Rigetti still hasn't stopped me out, believe it or not. There is a buyer here at 80. Now I should probably take advantage of that. But here's what I'm seeing, which is kind of dissuading me from taking advantage. I see lower highs all throughout this high, since the high of the day break, or the making of the high day at 1310 at around 11:30, 11:35 today. We've been putting in lower highs. All the while, we've been defending generally 1280. And that's why I haven't been stopped out with my 1278 stop. So what does that mean? That means it's a descending wedge. And the descending wedge has 2 characteristics. 1 is lower highs, and 2 is not lower lows, an even area low. That in this case is at 1280. So this is a flat bottom break candidate, despite the fact that it's holding the 10. So I'm a little hesitant to want to add at the 1280s. That's what's keeping me from adding here. Maybe I'm observing this wrong, but that's kind of how I see it at the moment. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for right now on Rigetti. I'm just going to let that one cook and see if we can extract some profits into the high of the day. I'm still holding the majority of my position on MLGO. Just took another print there, but looking to do certainly a lot better than I have on it on the day. The next print there, 92s. This one is having a lot of trouble clearing 94, so what I've done is I've moved up my stop just a little bit there to account for that. All right, Rigetti coming back into 13 in the same way that QBTS is coming back into 19, and IonQ is about 50 pennies off the high. So IonQ very strong right now. Keep your eye on that one. Wolf just made another high of the day. We got out at 69s. It printed 73s. And here it comes again into that 10 EMA on the 5, which is around 165, 166. I mean, is this an ad? I have no idea. I can get in baby shares here for another attempt. Let's do that. We'll take half the position we typically do on this one. And a breach of the 10 gets me out of this one. So we'll get in here on WOLF just to ride the trend. And then I put my order just a little bit below that level there. So that's my thinking on WOLF. Let's go back over here to MLGL. Yeah, not much to write about there, Joseph. It's really having trouble reclaiming the volume weighted average price.
All right, guys. Yeah, so everyone in the chat, I've seen everybody's talking about the Bitcoin breakout. Yeah, we caught some of that. I only have half of the position remaining right there, guys. I took, just a little bit more than half there. I took 33% off right there, and then it was just 10% right there. So yeah, I'm still sitting on half. If it comes back to this break even, then I'm just going to have to get out because I'm looking for this breakout to be sustained. But if you want to talk about the volume stepping in, that's exactly what we needed to see. So Bitcoin did put in another all-time high right there. So it tapped into 112 there momentarily. So that was a really good look. But you can see we're coming right back into the range. The SPY and the Qs putting a nice indecision print at these highs. So I think I'm going to get short the Qs here, guys. I just small size. I'll go long Ts. SQs. I'll go long SQs. Just using the low as my out. So there we go. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna flatten out of Bitcoin there, guys. Coming right back into the middle of the range. So there it is. We took a nice little move on there, and we got aggressive. But again, still red on the day. I needed the move to be more sustained, and I didn't have that much size. Even though I'm adding, it's just like the size wasn't that drastic. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Here we go. Enter, add, and then as we go and head towards some of these previous resistance zones and some key pivots, we add a little bit more, and then we are fortunate enough to get that volume to step in, and that breakout was sustained. So that was that move. But I mean, I'm 1 for 4 on this name, right? You can see that I was aggressive on it. So it is what it is. We did get a little bit of an opportunity, just chipped away on that front. So yeah, we'll take it. Some days you just got to take what the market gives you. You can see, let me pull up the Bitcoin chart as well too here, guys. And I mean, I don't know, how much more do you expect us to just go straight up? Like, this is essentially what we've been doing here. For me, I would have liked to see more of a liquidity grab into the hundreds, high 90s, and then we make that move. But I mean, it's like A, B, C, D pattern, left, right, and center. This is beautiful stair-step price action. So you get like, you move step 1, another move step 2, another move step 3, and then it's like, okay, after how many steps are you going to be slightly extended? So we got to take that into consideration, and that's why I'm not surprised that we didn't see those clean breaks here throughout the day here in Bitcoin, guys. So yeah, I'm still going to keep my eyes. Actually, yeah, sorry, I want to get involved into the SQs right now off of that signal, guys. Small size on the SQs here. Oh, okay. Oh, it's displaying something else. I'm like, yeah, what's going on there? Okay, so this is essentially what I'm going long off of here on the SQQ, guys. Is this indecision print, a double top here. From an intraday standpoint, we couldn't tap into that high a day. We reject it. We put in that inverted hammer. If we crack it and go to the top side, I'll get out of the trade. But now I am long SQs looking for that move back to VWAP.
All right, here, guys. Here is the story about Google that that Satya reported on earlier. Got the full story here. It really hasn't affected the price that much. Let's be honest. It's still up 3%. It did sell off a little bit off the highs, but here it is. The U.S. Justice Department is probing whether Alphabet's Google violated antitrust law in its agreement with Character AI that allows a tech giant to use the AI startup's technology. Bloomberg reporting this, by the way. Antitrust enforcers have recently told Google they are examining whether it structured an agreement with Character AI to avoid formal government merger scrutiny, the report said, citing people with knowledge of the matter. So essentially what they're saying here is they're trying to circumvent the regulator. Google last year signed a licensing deal with Character AI that granted the search engine giant a non-exclusive license to the chatbot maker's large language model technology. The company also hired Character AI's co-founder Noam Shazir and Daniel DeFreitas, both former Google employees. Quote, "We're always happy to answer any questions from regulators," a Google spokesperson said. "We're excited that talent from Character AI joined the company, but we have no ownership stake and they remain a separate company." Character AI and the Department of Justice did not immediately respond to Reuters' request for comment, but Google did, as I just read the comment there. The DOJ can scrutinize whether the deal itself is anti-competitive, even if it did not require formal review, the report said, adding the antitrust probe was in the early stages and may not lead to enforcement action. So, Joseph, a lot we don't know, nothing really to write home about.
Nothing in stone yet, so there might not be any action taken part on that. So that's a valid point there. I think that's important to take in there.
Yes, sir.
Most definitely. All right, guys, listen up. Trade the pool. It's redefining what risk means for traders. No more risking your life savings. One-time fee that starts at just $47. That means no blowing up your personal account. You get to trade with serious buying power, all while knowing your loss is capped. All you need to do is pass the evaluation, and this is it. You're funded. Scan the QR code and get 10% off your start with Trade the Pool at The pool, guys, go check it out. Scan that QR code, see if that works out for you. And I mean, a one-time evaluation fee of $47. That's just the bare minimum. And then there you go. You're going to pay tuition regardless, so you may as well get started with Trade the Pool.
Yeah, guys. And if you're in the States, obviously you're subject to the PDT rule, the patent day trader rule. That helps you get around that, obviously. And it's also good for practice. Let's just be honest about it, guys. You know what I mean? It's a lot better to practice on somebody else's dime. Obviously, you're having to put some money up front, but it's a fraction of what you're actually getting in risk. So if you ask me, it's a great deal. Hence why we're on this prop floor here, right? I mean, that just kind of goes without saying. So shout out to the great folks at Trade the Pool, and shout out to Money Mitch coming through yesterday with some great ideas, as he typically does. Happen to love the Macho Man glasses.
Yeah, they're mine.
All right, guys, WOLF, I'm back involved in that one at the high, but I'm looking for a hold of this general 10 exponential. We got a money filled just below the 10 EMA, and now I'm setting up at 67s and 69s and 71s. So let's see how this one ends up doing. The one that I am concerned about more is MLGO. And the reason is, even though it's at VWAP, when I observe the wicks that go above VWAP, each successive wick is a little bit lower than the prior wick. So what does that mean to me? That means sellers, in the way that buyers become more exuberant, sellers can also become exuberant as well. And they're selling this one at lower and lower levels on every successive 5-minute candle. That concerns me. Despite the fact that I have my entry at 86s, very close to the prior bar low, so I can kind of only risk a couple of shekels. But if you recall, I'm 0 for 1 on it. So we're trying to get some money back on this one, so I don't want to make any stupid mistakes. All right, thank you, Brendan, for that. The new IPO, guys, is open. It is MNTN. All right, MNTN on the New York Stock Exchange. Allow me a second, MNTN, there it is. All right, so we did have an opening price there. Let's load this up on a trading screen, Joseph, so we can have a better view of what the time and sales looks like. Again, guys, on the New York Stock Exchange, the NY, there we go. So what's the situation with this one? It looks like we opened up at $21. We're flying up here. The IPO is open, boys. MNTN on the NYSE. There's a seller of note at 50. Can we shake them here on MNTN? A decent spread. There's a monster seller at 50. Just got shaken. Now it's up to 60. Is this a long? No, right back down into 50 we go. In fact, we're at 47s now. Let's see how this one ends up doing. The high of the day, 23.95. We're currently trading, as you can see there, at 23.50. So we're stair-stepping down. On the ask, 60, then 50, now 35. I just saw 24s flash there. What's the situation? Are we going to find support? We're nearing the whole dollar right now. The spread's opening up, 19 on the ask. 6s or 8 now on the bid. So keep your eye on that one. We've already done almost 2.5 million shares, and we've barely been open a couple of minutes. And here it goes to the high side. Let's go. See, oh, it didn't let me in. Let's see, can we shake this seller at 60? That was a seller keeping us down before. We're shaking him. There we go. It's not letting me in. Okay, so I guess maybe we don't have permissions on it. That's fine. In any event, we'll keep monitoring this one for you. It is taking out the local area high, and here comes the high of the day. $24 just showed up on my level 2, and there it goes. So I tried to get, it's okay, you know, whatever. It's not a big deal. Taking out the highs, 24, 25, 24.50, really squeezing now, guys. Be careful. Here comes $25. We're really zooming up here bigly right now. MNTN, the ticker on the New York Stock Exchange, a new IPO that we knew about today. I put one on the watch list. Brendo brought us this one to our attention after we had sent the watch list, but we already know about it. So that is going to be part of the daily routine now. We are going to look to see which or if there are IPOs. It seems to be very in vogue now to have these IPOs, and here comes $25. Seller of note at 25, maybe a few hundred lots from what we can see. It's usually what we can't see that gets us in trouble, and that certainly was the case, at least initially there at 25. So the high of the day, guys, $25 on the dot. Keep your eye out on this one. So keeping my eye on it as well as the other trades that I've got on here, Joseph.
Yeah, thank you for that, guys. Yeah, so you can see that we're short the the SQs here. We're long the SQs, We're looking for that move down. A big time fake breakout here on Bitcoin. So I'm happy to have got out of that trade. Look at this shooting star doji right at those extreme highs, guys. So happy to have hopped out of that one. The weakness, I mean, on the 1 minute time frame, it looked like we got that breakout volume, but then you can see we're just met with substantial selling there. Now heading back towards the volume weighted average price. I mean, I will take this sideways price action and even a pullback, and that's what I want to see. I do like the trajectory that we're on, but a pullback, I want to see some healthy price action that is just going to continuously steady climb us higher and higher and higher, and just hit the teens, hit the 115s, 120s, 125s, 130s, and then I mean Tom Lee, my guy, says $250,000 by the end of the year. So with that being said, if we do see those types of numbers and $500,000 by 2028. Best you believe there's going to be some big time moves, and we just have to be positioned well and not take too much emotional damage in the process of doing that. So just be cool, be patient. And here I'll pull up my chart now, and this is exactly why we get out when we're supposed to, guys, because you can see that Bitcoin is really starting to move to the downside. There you go, right? So again, once again, aggressive, enter, add. We start taking some off 33% there, 10 there, and then we do get stopped out the remaining. But imagine I was just bag holding this. Now I turned a profitable trade into a losing one, and that's not what you want to do here, guys, all right? So sometimes you got to take what the market gives you, understand what the price action is staying from on multiple time frames, and I think that's a skill that I'm most definitely working on as well, too. What is the daily telling me? I stick to 3 time frames, and let me just be frank here. I stick to 3 time frames. That's going to be the daily, the 1, and the 5, and then I just kind of refine my system around that. Yeah, I'll look at sometimes the higher ones, but all my trades are based, swing trades are based off the daily, intraday trades are based off the 1 and 5. Simplistic as that. I told you I'm a simple guy, and I don't want to complicate it any more than that, all right? So there we go. SQQ is starting to work for us here, Sharif. Looking pretty good. Let's see if we can get into the volume-weighted average price into the lower end of this range. I think Google's going to play a big-time factor in this move to our potential target. If we do break through some of these lows of days, then I think the Qs in the overall market's going to start to participate. So there you go. I added a little bit to this position here, guys. You can see trying to make these winners as big as possible, but also staying within risk measures there.
All right, guys, we got long on MNTN. We took about $1 there. It is halted to the upside now, guys, 25.82. The halt, we got in at literally 24.85. So this one is halted now to the upside, 61.33%. If this is your first halt, they come in waves of 5 minutes. So keep your eye out on that. We'll see if we can get open again within 5 minutes, but they do come in waves of 5, 10, 15, etc. So good look right now on MNTN. We're going to see if we can kind of open up. I appreciate you, Joseph. We'll see if we can open up sooner rather than later. Hopefully it's a 5-minute halt, and then we can have a look at this one. So I don't have more information on this one. Let me see if I can find some information on my blotter to give us an idea of what kind of IPO this is. So let's just have a look over here. Here it is. So while this is halted, let's talk a little bit about it. So, MNTN is an advertising platform for internet-connected TVs, which has Ryan Reynolds as its chief creative officer. It secured a valuation of $1.62 billion after its shares gained 31.25% of the New York Stock Exchange debut. It's obviously up more now. The U.S. ad tech stock opened at $21, as I mentioned, compared with the IPO price of $16. That's bullish already, in the fact that it was the IPO price for the buyers who buy it off the public market was 16. It ended up opening at 21, which boosts the prospects for other companies looking to offer first-time share sales. MNTN and some existing stockholders on Wednesday sold about 11.7 million shares at the top of its marketed range of 14 to 16. So I guess maybe no blackout period here. They raised about $187 million doing that. The debut marks the latest in a string of success for companies seeking to go public. That's why I was trying to tell you guys that we're going to definitely keep that on our radar. From now on, we're going to be looking to see which IPOs are in play for that day. So MNTN, the other one that I have over here which hasn't opened quite yet, let me tell you a little bit about that one since we have time right now. It goes by the ticker HNGE. Excuse me. Here it is. Hinge, that's going to be a $32 IPO price. At the top end of the range, they raised about $273 million. 8.5 million shares will be available in the float. About 13.7 million shares, including existing shareholders. Again, the ticker, guys, HNGE. Valuation of the IPO about $2.6 billion, which is markedly down from what they raised. They raised that during in the private market in 2021, where everything was inflated. To be fair, $6.2 billion. Now the IPO is $2.6 billion. Obviously, there is a private market premium that we haven't talked a lot about on the show, but obviously it makes sense, right? You don't have to face the ire of the regulator. You don't have to listen to what the shareholders want, etc. You don't have to have all these other issues that the public markets have. That's why you have a private market premium. All right, guys, we're at the high of the day right now on Rigetti, so we're long at the $0.75 $1. We're going to take it out here, and we'll see if it can break the high. Also taking multiple prints here on WOLF. It took out all my prints, so let's go ahead and set up 74s, and then we're going to set up at 82, see if we can take out some highs there. We'll see what this one does. Yeah, the Rigetti's trade done. MLGO not looking that good. I'm break even on it at the moment. In fact, I'm in the money by 1 penny, but I'm negative on it because we're 0 for 1. We're trying to make that back up. I don't know if this is going to be the trade for me. It's really hanging out at a level I don't like. Guys, NVTS, that NVIDIA adjacent name we talked about, just got to VWAP from the south side. So it's retracing into VWAP, and it's got two, one is an inverse hammer candle, one's a doji candle. Both of them have topping tails through VWAP, but they are being met with selling. So if you're interested in shorting these small cap gappers, this is an interesting area here, especially with that 4 double bottom and a retracement into the volume weighted average price. So keep your eye on that NVTS, the ticker, up 142%, but trading south of the volume weighted average price. Okay, MNTN is open. It created a new high a day, but it opened markedly down. It's at $25. Does it hold 25? It's not holding it right now, Joseph, so we're going to have packer patience before we decide to jump back into this one. Fantastic look today. Lots to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. Good look there, brother. And nice scalp out there on MNTN there. Nice in and out there, too. For you, I seen you're in the dollar club there on that one, so it looked like. Yeah. But, yeah, good stuff there, guys. Sharif, I might have taken a page out of your book on this one, just doing some notes and stuff, going through some things. And we talk about NVDA a lot, and we got that news as well yesterday, guys. So let's just go over something that I was just reading and some of the deals that they've been striking across the seas here. So Trump to ditch the 3-tiered licensing structure for the H20 chip, but allowing to expand and open doors to countries that are not classified as an American adversary. The U.S. is moving forward with deals that would let the United UAE import up to 500,000 of NVIDIA's top AI chips annually starting in 2025, according to Reuters. Of that, 100,000 chips will go to the G42 that you were mentioning yesterday as well, too, Sharif, an Abu Dhabi-based firm backed by the Sovereign Wealth Fund. All right, so that was really interesting for me. And then we were also talking about the Saudi Arabia deal, has now partnered with Humane to sell over 18,000 AI-focused chips, amounting to nearly $700 million with the Saudi firm Humane. Thus, it's evident that the AI trade has mutually benefited NVIDIA and AMD without a clear winning, according to the Bank of America Corp analyst Vivek Arya. NVIDIA and AMD strategy partnership with Humane is estimated to be worth about 15 to 20 billion over the next 5 years. Now, this is extreme. This is exactly why I like this specific news, all right? So one thing to note, I think this was really important, is to Trump to ditch the 3-tier. And now he's just kind of, with China and the H20, that is, and now he's just kind of expanding, trying to subsidize for what potential profits have been lost there with that. But I think these guys are going to be equally as good partners, maybe if not better, in my opinion. I don't think you're going to get that fierce competition, I guess, in this AI race that we're currently in, from kind of these Gulf countries that we're seeing from the likes of China and Huawei, et cetera, all right? So that's what I was just doing some research last night to see what those numbers exactly were, and I like what I'm seeing, and that's why I'm bullish on this stock for the foreseeable future, and I think it's good news for AMD as well, too. And I think AWS struck a deal, so that I think it was around $4 or $5 billion. So yeah, I mean, some good stuff coming out from that side of the world, guys. We're still sitting in this SQQ trade. You can see that we're just hovering around specific areas. If the MAG are being strong, then that can justify why we haven't quite broken down yet. So I'm going to be patient. The precise entry was right here. I didn't see it. I was a little too late to that dance, but that's okay. I think we're positioned relatively well. And there it is on the 1 minute time frame. That is a really, really nice short signal right there. Closed as a genuine inverted hammer there. You can see that we couldn't breach the earlier high in the day, the session's high there, and then now we're just flushing right back towards the volume weighted average price. Let's see if we can break through some of these key resistance zones, break through VWAP. If we do punch through VWAP, then we can definitely see some more downside. But if the big boys are being strong, then it may not be the best battle. We'll take what the market can give us here.
Absolutely, Joseph. Well said, my friend. All right, guys, I'm still holding this position on WOLF. We just took out the high of the day. Again, it's $1.80 now. I've set up at $1.82. This is the second entry, so we've been in this for $1.40. We were all done our position at $1.60, got back in at $1.65 because it kept holding. So here's what I perceive, guys. Bull flag number one off that implied balance low that we printed at around $1, consolidated at $1.40. That's where I got in. So that was the range, $1.45 to $1.40. That's what I perceive to be bull flag number one. Bull flag number two, the breakout from that $1.45 upward into $1.70. Then we created yet another range, $1.70 to $1.65 consolidation. It looks like we are on the formation now of the third bull flag. We'll see. You never know how these things work. And even if you get the third bull flag in the sense that you make the pole of the bull flag, and then even if you get a consolidation, there's no requirement that we see the formation of the pole of the fourth bull flag. It can start retracing at that time. So what we have here, two completed bull flags on WOLF, and what I perceive to be the formation of a third, at least the pole portion of the third bull flag. So keep your eye on Wolf. It's a dollar name. So you can size in substantially into this one. You know, you can take 10,000 shares, 5,000 shares, whatever it is you want to do on that side and whatever it is you're comfortable in doing. There's ample liquidity. It's done about 80 million shares on the day. You're not going to have a problem getting filled at the level that you're requesting. There's ample amount of liquidity here. So keep your eye on this one anyway. Rejecting at that $1.80, but been very respectful both of the higher highs and higher lows and the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. So WOLF, not a bad look at all. Rigetti continues to go up, so does QBTS. IonQ though, my goodness, this one is the one today, okay? So we talked about these ones taking turns about which one is stronger, which one is curling up at what time. IonQ is up 35.5%. It is at the high of the day, 45.55. Rigetti's also at the high of the day. QBTS just made the high of the day, 19.19. Fantastic look. But when you observe these ones, what are you looking for? I'm looking for strength. Well, how do you gauge strength? Well, you can gauge it in a number of ways. You can look percentage up on the day, how far off the intraday high we're at. Or you can do what I do, which is to keep your eye on where the price action is relative to the 10 exponential. And when you look at where the price action is here on IonQ relative to the 10 EMA, it is $1.60 higher. Now, obviously, it's more expensive, so we have to calculate that in percentage terms. But you don't really even need to, because you can just have a look visually. QBTS coming back into the 10 exponential. Likewise with Rigetti, not as close. IonQ, not even looking back at that one. Now, again, more expensive. You're going to have to size in a little. You have to be a bit wiser with how you size in. In addition to that, you can also get hit on it because it's a bit more spready. So the cost of doing business on IonQ a little bit more than on your friends QBTS and Rigetti. So keep your eye. Just because it's a number one quantum name doesn't mean it's the easiest to trade. Okay, so keep your eye on that one. I chose Rigetti just because of the price, and they were moving. It's moving quite well. But you can see we're getting the weakest of the three percentage-wise, up about 19.75. You got QBTS 23.5, and then IonQ 34%. So that is the look there. Let's keep an eye out on that one. I could be an interested buyer at Rigetti at 13 if it sets up in the right way. We're continuing to keep an eye on Wolf over here as it gets into that $1.80. Now it's back at the high of the day. There's substantial size, as I expected, at that 10 penny area, and as well the high of the day. So we'll see if we can shake some of these sellers and print a new high. Let's go to the other trade that I've got on right now. MLGO, back break even on this one. I didn't take anything at 92s or 94s. This one is straddling VWAP in a way that I got to tell you, I don't have a good read on. Okay, I don't know if this thing's making higher highs or higher lows, or is just very, very evenly consolidative. We'll see. I've got the low end of the range for now, so if the range breaks, the trade's over, Joseph.
All right, guys, check it out. Have you ever entered an order to buy or sell, and the price you got filled at is completely different from what you've expected? That's called slippage. Slippage happens when you're trading on an old or an underpowered computer, and it costs traders a bundle. So that's why our friends at Easy Trading Computers created the complete guide to trading computers. This guide shows you exactly what technology you need to succeed as a trader to avoid slippage. Go ahead and scan the QR code or click the link in the description box to get a free copy of that guide. So go check it out. You may as well go check it out if it's free. You can get a guide to see what kind of setup you need. I know I did a lot of due diligence buying my computer, and to be honest with you, I didn't know too much before I started doing this. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Guys, go check out Easy Trading to see if it is your fit. But guys, yeah, let's take a look at the SQQs here. We're starting to slowly grind lower. I am long, so there I'm synthetically short the overall market. If we breach the volume-weighted average price, then we might be sitting in a good position. I did want to add at the lower end of this range, but I just didn't pull the trigger just yet because I have to keep an eye on what all of the other big names are up to, right? So what are the likes of NVDA? Are we still grinding higher? Are we going to head lower? And you can see that it's relatively a choppy mess. So we'll go through a couple of the big names because if you're trading the Qs, you want to see the most heavily weighted underlyings, all right? So we'll go through NVDA, AAPL. Let's see what Apple is up to here as well. Oh, okay, so a nice recovery, trading above VWAP here, guys, but knocking on the door of some of these pre-market zones, all right? So you can see we have some clear resistance in and around this area, and it's coming into play throughout the intraday session. All right, so there's Apple, and now we'll take a look at Softy, as we like to call it here on the floor. Okay, so moving lower, that's a positive sign. We are now heading back towards that opening price. So you can see for all my orb traders, that's the opening range breakout. You get this nice open, but that's an indecision candle. If I'm trading a 5-minute orb, that's not the best signal for me to go long at the break of either the body or the wick. You choose, but that's not something I would specifically do, even though it did work out, all right? So just understand that that happens here in the overall market. Is that, okay, you get that print, the thesis works out, but is that a signal that you specifically want to base a trade off? For me, that's no. All right, so Google, let's pull up Google here. All right, so we're starting to move to the south side here, guys, and a lot of these names, this is exactly what I want to see. We'll pull up Amazon. This is Obi's favorite. Another short signal here, guys. That is a positive sign here in these shorts. We're now tapping into the volume-weighted average price. Let's pull back up the SQQs. We're right there in VWAP. I'm not going to take anything off just yet. Again, I'm not too heavy here, Sharif. Small size, we did add a little bit, but yeah, we'll take what we can get.
Yes, sir. All right, I got back into MNTN for a quick scalp. We took 40 pennies quick as you like. This one has a double bottom now off the volume-weighted average price, albeit with very limited amount of data with which to generate that VWAP. Doesn't matter though, because that's exactly what it did, whether the data is limited or whatever. You're getting two bottoming tail candles, both of which found support at the volume weighted average price. I happen to get in on the second one, having not observed the first one. So what's the deal? Are we just going to look to VWAP forever and ever more, or is there a trade to be had here above the volume-weighted average price? Well, I'd like to see a new 5-minute candle to make a new high. Now, the problem with this one is it can wick to make a new high because the spread is so wide, while the bid doesn't actually clear. So that's the problem with these ones that are super spready and using that system of the candle to make a new high. So what I'd like to do is wait for it on a closing basis. That comes with drawbacks as well, because if you wait for it on a closing basis, given how parabolic and volatile this one is, it could get away from that prior or the previous area high by substantial distance before you're actually able to get involved. So what I'm keeping my eye on here is where the sellers are coming in on the level 2, or the buyers, excuse me, on the level 2. I want to see big size posted, and I haven't seen anything posted that's large. Look at these. These are all filled with 1s and 2s and 6s. There's no double-digit lottage on this name. So I'm not kept very optimistic about that, but that doesn't mean that there's no trade to be had here, because what we know is a lot of people like myself and everybody on the floor, we're not actually posting most of our orders. They come in live. So if that's the case, then you're not going to see them on the level 2 when and if we decide to do them. So yeah, that's what I'm keeping my eye on there. We just got a third 5-minute candle to open now, and we have the previous 2 candles are candles of indecision, but they both hold up at VWAP. So let's see what this one does. We've got a current higher low. Maybe we can get a money fill at around 23.30, 23.50, right? That's where the money fills previously were on the prior 2 candles. I'm talking about the 12.40 and the 12.45 candle. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw a dip trade there. Now, if it doesn't print, it doesn't print. That's fine. I'm going to wait at 23.55 for an order there, see if we can get a money fill on a bit of a retracement south. So MNTN, which is a new IPO, Ryan Reynolds involved here, IPO. So let's see if we can get something there, Joseph.
He has to fund that civil he's in there.
Yeah, well, he's been doing some stuff, right?
Yeah.
So here we go. We're long here, Joseph, on MNTN. I'm posting there at 70s. It's showing me 95s, but again, the spread prohibitive on this one. So let's see if we can get something there. I'm just going to send it to you, brother.
Yeah, absolutely there, guys. All right, so we caught another fill here on the SQQs. That's a positive sign. We like seeing this. All right, so we got some news here on IONQ here. Trending right now, CEO told Barron's he wants to be the next NVIDIA, and it's all it takes to bump the shares 25%. This will not end well for IONQ as shares start to surge. All right, so there you go. He wants to be the next Jensen. I think he has some ways to go here, but I mean, aim for the moon, or what is it? Aim for the moon, shoot for the stars, or something like that, or anything along those lines. I mean, you got to dream big, and that's how things come into fruition. So there you go, continuing to climb higher. You can see that we opened up at around $34 and now trading at 46. So yeah, a high of 45.50. This stock hasn't looked back. You want to talk about micro pullbacks? Here you go. This is a micro right here, and then look at the volume by time too, guys. So when you have an extremely strong underlying like this, and then you're looking to participate in the primary trend, well, when you see a volume profile like this here, look how we stair step down on this breath, and then boom, immediately a couple minutes later, you get the strength step right back in as you take that additional leg higher. So that is a positive sign. If you want to talk more along those lines of how we're going to analyze volume and price, here you go. We're climbing. Some nice volume, consistent, steady volume to the top side. Oh, we're going to pull back. What happens to the volume? Drops off a cliff, and then you see it step right back in there, guys. So that is a picture-perfect example of if you're looking to participate in a trend and you don't want to just be buying the highs, etc., analyze when you may be in somewhat of a pullback. What is the volume telling you? Is it slowly starting to decay and decrement, or is it starting to pick up and increase? And if it is starting to pick up, maybe be a little bit more patient on your entries. But I like that for an example. The CEO wants to be the next NVDA. I mean, by all means, if that's the case, we better be buying this stock right now because it's got some ways to climb there, Sharif. But we're still sitting in this SQQQ trade. We got that fill right above the volume weighted average price. I posted up there. They're small profit takers. They're like 2.5% or 5%, sorry, because I want to hold on to the majority of this move to see if we can head back into opening price, and that's going to be my primary target.
Well said, Joseph. All right, guys, I got in at 23 on MNTN, and we did well on this one. So we got 23s there. Actually, to be fair, it was 23.06, and then we scalped up all the way in about 23.60. It's zigging and zagging right now at the third of a dollar. Spread again. To be expected, 33 on the ask, 21 on the bid. Let's see if this one can hold VWAP. Right now, it kind of feels like a bear flag with the top end of the pole of the bear flag being the high of the day, 26.29, and then the consolidation area being essentially 24 to 23. So a bit of a dollar consolidation. You can look at it that way. You can also look at it as an area support where the volume weighted average price is acting obviously as a level of support. We don't have much data off which to work except the volume weighted average price, and that's exactly what we're getting right now, support at that 23.20 where VWAP is. So I'm out of this trade. I got out for a scalp. I'm done it, and it's losing 23. Here comes the low again, 23 holding for the moment, and that's where I got in last time. I'm not sure why my hotkeys don't work on this, but I can punch in manually. But when I use my hotkeys, it must be something that I set up in the setting of my hotkeys that doesn't jive with these IPOs. So I have to figure that out.
It was working on the other one.
Yeah. I was punching in using the hotkeys. I set up hotkeys today on my platform today, guys. One punch key, so I don't have to actually enter in the size, enter in the price, and I set an offset. Like, I know that's basic stuff for a lot of people, and I have that on my platform, but I don't know why I didn't do it on here, and it probably makes a lot of sense to do it on here. In any event, 23 defending here, Joseph. For the most part, we still haven't cleared that, 24.25 decisively. So I don't know, man. I don't want to overstay my welcome on this name. I got to tell you the truth. So I'm done trading it until it can get out of this funk that it's in. It's in almost a 20-minute sideways consolidation ever since dropping below that 24.25. So that's what I see there. Let's go and have a look at the other one here. MLGO straddling the volume weighted average price. I've been in and out of the money on this one since I basically got in. I'm negative on it. So we'll look to do a little bit better on this one. Yeah, that's my situation there. Wolf, we continue to do well on over here. I didn't add into Wolf, and that's probably a problem for me. I certainly should have been adding because that candle at the 5-minute chart at 12:45 was the money fill. So we've got 65s on long. We just printed 75s. We did reject 80. The next profit taker I have is waiting at 82. So we'll see if that one can make its way up. Guys, I want to remind you, we have 2 IPOs today. One is already open. I've been trading it. It goes by the ticker MNTN. And then there is HNGE, which is yet to open. We don't know when these things are going to open. It's part of their charm, I guess. In that they remain elusive. So this one is not open quite yet. As soon as it does open, I'll have notifications over here about it, and we'll bring that to you guys. So MNTN and HNGE, 2 new IPOs for today, Joseph.
Thank you for that. Marcus Steven Johnson, don't do me dirty like that, man. Come on. No, I'm only playing. Yeah, all right, guys. We caught another fill here in SQs. So I am long the SQ, so I'm short this market, and I displayed what kind of the trade thesis was based off of that indecision print double top there, and you have that inverted hammer at those highs there, guys. So yeah, let's see if we can catch another fill. I'm gonna post up at 37s to see if we can catch something on the ask there, guys. So I'll pull. Well, I'm not going to say what Obi said. I know Obi likes saying that. Maybe I will pay homage to him. Slap that. Actually, I don't feel like saying that. But all right, so there we go, guys. We posted up there. Let's see if we can catch that fill. I mean, obviously, hindsight 2020. I should have been a little bit heavier on this trade, but it is what it is. I can't complain. The execution isn't going horrible. There was another ad opportunity right here that we could have taken advantage of and then maybe doubled up the size and just used that free roll method that I was referring to. That would be a sick hotkey if we can construct that here, but I don't know if we can. But yeah, so that's it. We can see we have another order posted up there at 24.37. If we can catch that fill, that would be much appreciated. $1 super chat from my guy, Marcus Steven Johnson. Much appreciated, brother. I know you're only pulling my leg there, so yeah, we got to have fun sometimes. Let's see, NVIDIA going to get some big block orders, FYI. All right, Ozan, let's see what you're looking at. I got my eye on the quantum space, and rightfully so. You can see how strong it's been today, but RGTI taking another leg to the top side there, guys. So that's a big time move. So you can see we move higher consolidation phase, and then we just pop through some of
of these resistance zones and are just continuing this move to this higher move, right? So big time. And oh yeah, and we were doing some TA on this not too long ago. We're on the backside of this downtrend, consistently forming these higher lows, and then now we're just punching through some resistance zones. So that's something positive. I like this, the volume supporting that, and that's exactly what we need. We just want to follow the volume and try to keep things as simple as possible. I'm going to be patient, see if we can catch this fill here on the Qs. And I told you guys that the primary target is going to be opening price on the overall market, and that's going to put us around 513.
All right, man. I'm just throwing in a stop over here. Let's just clean up our stops from the previous. So I've got MLGO. I've got a trigger at 79 and all the way down to 70. Okay, so I'm going to do the news. So just making sure that we have all our stops in place. So let's go ahead. Kind of a late news day, guys, but we'll go through it anyway. Obviously, we all know about Bitcoin hitting all-time highs. Find out where it's at right now. It's about 111,286. It seems like the actual high, not the wick high here. Allow me just to go to my 15 so I can actually see where the closing prints are. Yeah, it looks to be about 11,000. Oh, sorry, 111,000. Here it is, 111,881. That's what I'm seeing on mine, but I do have wicks, which are suspect, that go about to 112,560, but I think yesterday we kind of established that those were not kosher. So anyway, yeah, this one's saying 886, so I don't think it's that fundamentally different than mine. Go ahead, Stea.
DFDV is popping up on my volume scanner, so this is approaching the previous high on the day, so we're breaking through that level. Back to you.
Satea all day. It's kind of a small cap gapper adjacent. The problem with it though is it has a dollar spread. So we're just going to cover that one super quick because I literally just loaded up. I think it's actually on this screen here. Yes, no, that's not the one. Where is it at? There it is. It's over here. Okay, so this is a big, but as you can see, 52.28, 52.80, and that's a good spread right now. I've seen it as wide as $1.50, so be very careful with this. But that's the bad side. The good side of DFDV is it was very, very respectful of the volume weighted average price once it did pull back in. DFDV, here it is. Let me show you exactly what I mean. There is the hold up there. So you get to that high of the day of 51.53. It drops into VWAP right around 43, holds it beautifully, and then makes that V-shaped recovery into that high day 53.58. So it's up 46%. And if you're wondering what this is, they are called DeFi Development, formerly Janover Incorporated. They provide AI-powered online platform that connects with the commercial real estate industry. I think we looked at this one yesterday. In any event, $749 million market cap with about a 4.2 million share float. So good look there on DFDV. But just allow me to kind of load up my news. There it is. Okay, good. Is it this one? Yeah, there it is. So let me just load that in from the side here, guys. There it is. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin. As I was talking about, the rally is partly driven by Moody's downgrade of the U.S. sovereign debt credit, adding to Bitcoin's appeal as that kind of the hedge against the fiat risk, especially with spending being a little bit aggressive. The Genius Act also didn't hurt things, which is stablecoin regulation. That passed a key procedural vote in the Senate, boosting the regulatory clarity. Obviously, that's good for the industry in general. There's an ongoing crypto push, though, with President Donald Trump and David Sachs obviously championing that. There is a formal dinner today being held by Donald Trump and company. Apparently it's about Trump coin. I'm not exactly sure. In any event, you know, usually when there's anything crypto related, it is a good time to listen. Also, the institutional shift for Bitcoin with our friend Jamie Dimon the other day coming out saying, you know, he still doesn't like it all that much, but he's not as averse to it as he was in the past. And now JP Morgan enabling Bitcoin purchases for clients, which is a good credibility boost. And then this one is one of my favorites, the decorrelation from stocks. Again, you know, I always jokingly say when I'm with Brendo at the big desk, if I want to buy the Qs or the Nasdaq or Apple, I'll buy those. I don't want Bitcoin moving with these Mag 7 names. That's not what I'm in it for, and that's kind of what the move is here, Joseph, as people are looking at it now.
I agree with that. Sometimes I find it's, even though we have no control over it, I find it slightly frustrating that when it's heavily correlated with the Nasdaq, because it's like, why it has essentially nothing to do with it, but it also brings to the point where I think where you just touched on is just the institutional adaptation of it.
Exactly.
Is that's where it's coming from. That's where we see the correlation.
I agree 100%. And the thing is, we know it's a risk asset. Okay, we got that. But it's also a store of value. And that's what I'm looking at it for, guys. So good luck there. Let's talk about Zoom. Zoom reported earnings yesterday, the pandemic era favorite. It's been a tough time for Zoom as of late, but looks like they're getting their house in order there with a decent report here. Revenue came in at about 1.17 billion, which is above estimates. EPS also came in at $1.43. That beat $1.30 the street wanted. That continues their profitability push, guys, but muted top line growth. So they are able to kind of shore up costs and get their spending in order. But in terms of growing revenue, they seem to be having issues with that. Maybe because, there was a COVID era obviously was the best time for them with everybody at home having to use their
one second there, Shreve. So we got the hinges open now, guys. Thanks for pointing that out there. We're going to go through the news here momentarily. You can see we've got...
No, let's cover this.
We'll cover it. So we got about 2.6 million shares here put in the first couple minutes on HNGE, not the dating site, guys. This is something totally different. Here we go. Continuing to climb. What did we open at? We're trading at that opening price right now, around 39.10. And now we're continuing to climb. Be careful with these IPO, guys. For me, there's not enough data, nor do I have a large enough playbook or sample sets for me to trade these. You got to start somewhere, but if you're going to trade it extremely small to start there.
Absolutely. Good support at 39 here, Joseph, initially, even though the low is 38.50. So let's see if it holds up at 39. Maybe there's some money fills to be had here at the $0.25. Here comes the third of a dollar, so a bit of a sell there. HNGE, guys, it trades on the New York Stock Exchange, up about 23%. I was giving you the information on this one a little earlier. I'm interested here on a 39 hold. I'd like something a little bit closer to 39, though. That way it gives me a very close hard stop. So the $0.25, it's losing the $0.25. Now 10s coming in here. Now it's losing 39 altogether. So just drop below 39. Is this now the buy above 39? Let's go long over here. Oh, not even anywhere near my order there. So the spread is prohibitive on this one, at least when I punched in. So let's see if we can get a little bit moved back down. Maybe I should have had a resting order. I think that would have been a bit more of an appropriate move back into the single digits. We are at 39. Do we defend 39? The prior bar low. Wow, so we have a higher low with the prior bar low being 38 1/3. So we can get in here and give it to 38 1/3. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And right up it goes into a dollar, quick as you like that. There it is on HNGE. Get 39 bottoms. What a move up there was for HNG. Let's see if we can post again and defend that $39 area. We're going to post up at 7s. And the prior bar low, or the current bar low, excuse me, is a third of a dollar. So if you're looking for an area stop that gives you, some sort of structure, I would submit to you guys 38.67 is the current bar low right now. So that's the move. We're long again at 39.07. Let's go ahead and post up here, and where I'm going to put again 38.60. And we're going to have to give it a crazy amount of room there because that's the spread on this one, right? And right up it goes again, and we take it out again over there. So there it is, 39 defending here, Joseph, on HNGE. It's a good level, even though it did wick into 38 1/3. Be careful with this one, as Joseph made very clear. We have very little data of which to work on this one, so keep your eye on it and trade it carefully.
Yeah, most definitely trade it carefully, guys. So there you can see Shreve was scalping in and out. I don't know if necessarily now is the time to be holding it for those extended moves. You can see you just wick 50 cents, 60 cents, $1 like it's nothing. He was in and out in a matter of seconds. So yeah, guys, just keep your eyes on it. Be patient and don't allow yourself to get chopped up in an IPO. All right, it's not like the CoreWeave or the Newsmax that we were seeing. I don't think that's going to be anything along those lines, but I could be most definitely wrong. But yeah, there it is, guys. HNGE. All right, guys, let's pull up the SQ trade here. We're still just slowly cooking away, chipping a chair, as I would like to say. So we're just punching, taking some fills here. We'll post up at 2440s right now, guys, to see if we can catch another fill right there. I don't want to take out all my size. All right, so let's go. There we go. So we got another order out. Let's see if we can catch this. We're now south of the volume-weighted average price. The momentum in some of the bigger names seems to be picking up. As you can see, Amazon taking a big-time dive back into the volume-weighted average price here, guys. So that is good for my thesis. These big names starting to sell, that's exactly what I need to see. And I want to see some breadth in the overall market, too. I mean, this is how strong NVDA is. It's just consolidating. It recovered half of what it lost yesterday. I didn't think we were going to climb all the way back here today. Considering what we've got going on from a daily standpoint, I mean, 35% off of those lows. You can't ask much more than, more than that. Sorry, excuse my French there, guys. It's 52% there from that local trough to where we're currently trading at. So I want to see a breath because I want to also add into this position as well, too. So you can see that we are starting to pull back, forming these lower highs, and bringing some of the price action into some of these gap fill territories. So that's something that I want to see, middle of the range. I was talking to Brankos this morning. I said, I'm loading the boat around the mid-120s. If we can catch 125, I'm going to be grabbing some more contracts. I still have a bit of my swing, but that's just the shares. All those contracts are gone. But again, with these deals from the Gulf countries, I like this for the long term. I do believe this is going to be the run for that all-time high. Now we just have to wait for those pullbacks, and then maybe we can position ourselves relatively even better to grab these contracts and then be positioned into that break of the all-time high. And then we also got earnings next week as well, too. I believe it's on Tuesday or Wednesday, guys. So, again, be patient for that. It could be the move that is going to bring us to those all-time highs, especially if the guidance is through the roof. We know what's going on with the H20s. With that being said, let's pull up the expected move on the chosen one there, as I like to call them there, NVDA, and see what we got going on for next week there, guys. So here we are. No, that's not right. So yeah, okay, this would be the next week. So again, an 8.8 expected move there, guys. So that could put us at a high of 144 or a low of 121, all right? So just keep that in mind. I'm going to be looking forward to that. If we do exceed this expected move, I do believe we're going to head into that 150 territory. And then to fall the week following, there could be some solid price action. But first, we need that report to come out. It needs to be positive, and the street has to like it.
Well said, Joseph. Yeah. All right, micro algo finally breaking out here. So I did try to pack my patience with this one. We got a few prints, and the tape now is moving a little aggressively. So here comes that 195. Actually, we just passed 195. That's why I got the print. Now I'm setting up at 198 next. It's a 214 high a day. It was a VWAP straddle from the south side, but here we go, breaking out, taking out highs. So in the next profit taker, 198. Let's see how this cookie crumbles simultaneously. I took out the high of the day again on WOLF. I got 83s there. The high of the day is 85. I've set up now at 95. Been in this since $1.40, guys. We scalped out, added back in. So this is the one that I was talking about, the bull flags, right? So keep an eye out on that one. Let's see if we can take out that 190 level. Guys, both the IPOs are kind of selling off aggressively. On the bottom right-hand corner is HNGE. That's the one that opened up later. On the top right-hand corner is MNTN. That's the Ryan Reynolds one, okay? So they're both, they're both above the technical IPO price, but they're all below their open price now. The IPO price and the IPO price and the open price are not the same. The IPO price is what it's sold to off market with the participants participating in the IPO vis-a-vis the investment banks, and the open price is where the schmucks like us get to buy it on the open market. Okay, so they're not the same thing. They're both above their IPO price but below the open price. So MNTN and HNGE, two great looks on the day, two IPOs on the day. Let's keep an eye out on that. WOLF continues to hang out highs. Rigetti is just taking out all the highs. So is IonQ. They're both quite aggressive to the high side. We finished our Rigetti trade far too early. We should have been more alive to the consolidation and the respect that it had for the 10 EMA on the 5. Here it is, 13 3/4 right now, the high of the day on Rigetti, 45.90 on IonQ, 19.19 on QBTS. They're all fantastic looks on the day. Quantum and Vogue, keep your eye on them if you're looking for something very directional, because I'll submit to you guys, they have been quite directional. So here we go again now with MLGO. We popped up into 97s. I didn't get the print because we didn't get to 98s yet. We're up 25%, and what's pleasing to me now is that we're above the volume weighted average price. So let's keep an eye out on this one. Still got some shares left, still negative on it though from that initial trade because we added a few times and then ended up getting stopped out. So you win some, you lose some. Let's keep an eye out on Wolf as well because it continues to make higher highs and higher lows. I talked about NVTS earlier as a possible short. This is the one that has a deal with NVIDIA that really broke out yesterday in the aftermarket. Right at 415, this thing rocketed up from like $1.80 all the way up to $6.50. But look at that. Since that time, what do you guys notice about the price action? You know, we can't really seem to be breaking that trend. The lower highs is a bit of an issue here. Now, if you're looking for a trend break from the trend line, that's number one. That's step number one, I would say. And then what you're really looking for here is a break above a previous area high. Now, I'm less likely to use that 650, the double top in the aftermarket in the pre-market as my level. I'd rather use that 560 area. Look at that pre-market action here, which we had plenty of volume, guys. Some of these candles had about 600,000 shares, some a million. So there was plenty of volume being done in the pre-market. We can't just say it was sparsely traded. So if we break above that 550, I'm going to tell you guys NVTS might be a long. It's got a couple of things working for it here. It's cleared VWAP here quite quickly without really consolidating too much. It's broken this kind of trend line that we've informally drawn, and all it really needs to clear that 5.5. So NVTS, good look. Let's see if it continues that way, Joseph. For now, it's been kind of a sell the news kind of event.
Yeah, for sure. Sharif. All right, guys. Yeah. So I'm just trying to catch this fill here. I've seen it hit the ask multiple times, but I needed to come in on the bid, those 40s. So yeah, I mean, you can see that it tapped into it multiple times, but I just never caught that fill just yet, guys. And now we're starting to climb higher in the overall market. I mean, this quantum space is absolutely going parabolic, going
really
nuts.
good.
Yeah, this is insane here. Just continuing to climb here on the session, guys. I mean, if we want to talk about a percentage metric of 36 to 37% here on the session, and it's not even looking back. Like these are such micro pullbacks here. It's so strong, and you don't want to go against this right now. So like if you're continuously trying to look for that mean reversion or trying to short these tops, good luck, because it's not being displayed anywhere, and you don't want to try to short these strong underlyings. I mean, when I first started trading, I remember someone told me, he's like, yeah, I don't even look at shorting Apple or anything along those lines because I just believe there's strong stocks. And that was in the time when we were just continuously climbing higher, and I took that advice to complete extent, right? Because I'm like, yeah, you're so right. Like, why am I trying to do that? And that's exactly what we're seeing here in the quantum space right now. You go across the board, Rigetti climbing higher. Why am I on Microsoft? Yeah. Rigetti, RGTI, continuing to climb higher. Like, breath. Oh, yeah, all right, cool. That's all we need. Boom, take another leg to the top side. QBTS. Katina Man's been crushing this one here. Still, again, climbing higher, pulling back. Not as strong as IONQ or our RGTI, but still, it's still hovering around those highs of days, right? And then we got QUBT climbing higher, just putting in another leg to the top side. So again, until there's a definitive signal, you get that isolated volume print with an extreme isolated price action print. At that point, that is the only attempt that I'm trying to short these signals. I'm not going on any form of short in these names on a C plus or a B plus. It has to be A plus plus in order for me to even think about taking a short in this space right now.
Well said, Joseph. Here we are This is Bitcoin chart, guys. This is actually the Bitcoin chart, not the IBIT. We're coming right back near these highs. Here we go again, 111,550. Let's see if we can get up, maybe actually touch 112,000 proper, not, you know, that 80. We're $300 off all-time highs, and this is a really good look, even though we're consolidative, because the market is been what it is today. When it was selling off, Bitcoin was holding the levels. In fact, it held 110,500 quite well. That seems to be the low end of the range today, and that range has been kind of in play all day, all actual day, since we took that high right at midnight yesterday. It looks like right around midnight we got we made those all-time highs right at 11:45 at night yesterday. Since we made those all-time highs, look at these area lows. It's been an 110,500 area hold. Fantastic hold. So we're about $1,000 above that range, but it does feel like a range we're stuck in. About 111,600 to the top side, 110,500 to the downside. So to me, this screaming, I'm going to break out. Because what preceded this consolidation was higher lows. And look at this. Even if you look at the day area lows, forget about the prior day. You're looking at intraday lows. They're all higher lows. Ever since we put in that area low on the day right around 5 a.m. at about, 110,420, every successive low or every successive candle is a bit of a higher low. So good look right now for Bitcoin, guys. Let's see where this one does, what this one does, I should say. Keep your eye on it overnight. Obviously, Bitcoin, a 24-hour asset, 24-hour trading asset, that is. And it seems, I don't know, Joseph, how you feel about this, but it seems like a lot of these moves, I know yesterday was a bit of an exception because we got an all-time high like on the show live, which was very exciting and everything. Yeah, but most of the time, I mean, it's on the weekends or it's overnight,
like
or
6, 7 o'clock.
6, 7 o'clock, right?
Moving, yeah.
So yeah, if you guys are interested in this, obviously, and you have, if you're trading this, you're not holding it, you just got to know that some of the outsized moves that they have, that Saturday night, Sunday night coming into Monday, oftentimes before the futures market opens up at 6 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, I'm looking at Bitcoin from say 12 o'clock onwards to see what the extent of the market is. But maybe I shouldn't be doing that anymore because we're just saying here that we don't want to see Bitcoin correlated with the overall market. So that might not be the right move anymore. In any event, keep your eye on that. Bitcoin is now 111,610, coming into the high end of the range now, Joseph, about $200 off all-time highs.
Okay, yeah. So there you go. It's absolutely climbing there, guys. All right, let's check it out here in sports playing. Flexibility is everything. At ProfitX, you can see the order book just like a financial exchange. Pick your spot and customize the odds to fit your risk. Why settle for a single offered price when you can set your own? Plus, our own mobile interface makes it easy to play on the go. ProfitX, where you can call the shots anytime, anywhere. Users can use code TraderTV to get our sign-up offer of 2% cash back on up to $300. Yeah, I mean, as for the Bitcoin thing, we're climbing here now, Sharif. I like that look in it. The market seems relatively strong. But I will be honest here, though. I want to see a bit of a pullback. I mean, you've seen the run that we've gone on off of the lows.
You're right.
And, I mean, we're stair-stepping, which is relatively good. But I want to see a pullback, even though we have kind of been consolidating for a long period of time. We were in a downtrend. So maybe we do just go extreme buying and borderline parabolic. But what have we seen from history? When you go parabolic, what comes after that?
Mean reversion.
Right, exactly. You get a hefty pullback, and not everybody wants to sit through that. So I'd rather see nice, calm, cool PA, climb higher, pullback, climb higher, pullback, not just straight in a straight line. But I mean, I'll take it as well too, obviously, right at the end of the day. But I got stopped out of my SQQ trade here, guys. I did add aggressively right here, so I was just free rolling. I was only risking my unrealized. I wasn't going to take a loss on that trade, even if it does go back to the downside. That's what happens when you do that. Why did I decide to add right there, Joseph? You may ask. I can tell you, is this candle right here, right above the volume weighted average price? I'm like, okay, this is a good indecision. Was this a liquidity grab, or was it going to be a genuine move? As of right now, it looks like some of the big names are climbing higher. Bitcoin.
We have 736 now. We're less than $100 off all-time highs.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this print here, Sharif, it was a genuine print right here. So I don't know if that was
a genuine print.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was that 112,000 right there. But I mean, as soon as you crack that, you've now put in another all-time high on the.
Yeah, well, 112,000 is a good level too. So, guys, MNTN could be a flat top break here, guys. This is an ascending wedge. This is the Ryan Reynolds IPO. So you get that area bottom there, 2150, higher low on the subsequent candle, higher low on the subsequent candle, higher low, and now you have a higher high. So this one feels like it was the opposite of what we saw over here. We kept seeing support at that $23 level, which was VWAP, and we were using that as support. We broke down below it, and now we're putting in higher lows, and now we're also putting in higher highs. So MNTN could be on the move up. You know, it's kind of hard to tell because there's just so much, or there's so little, I should say, data off which to work. But I try to pick up on these chart patterns, and this one does look like it might be making a move up here. But so is micro algo, and more pleased I could not be. I really did try to pack my patience with this one. Let's go ahead and take some more profits here. I don't have any other profit takers that are layered. It just got into $2, and you know, I'm not surprised it rejects it. So we're going to set up at 205. We're going to set up at 210. With the high of the day being that 214 area. So let's see what we get here on MLGO. Great hold at VWAP, but it really did prolong the hold from 1205 until we got the breakout at 110. I had to hold this for an hour and 5 minutes. Never really being that much out of the money, to be fair, because we had the bottom end of the range. So I got it at $1.86. The worst it did was 182. I had my stop below 180, so it didn't trigger. And then most of the closing prints, if not all, actually, for whatever reason, defended that 186, even though it did wick below it once. So here comes 190 or $2 again. It just got into 2 and it rejected. But I feel MNTN might be on one here. The current candle is yet another higher low, not quite the higher high quite yet. And now we have a higher high, but be on the lookout for that $24 area, and above that, that $24.20. There is 3 topping tail candles, all of which rejected at $24.20. I'm talking about these 3 here. Here we go, guys. It's taken out those levels. Now it's above 24. Can we get above 24.20? It feels like a flat top break. V-shaped retracement here with a good amount of volume. We didn't open that long ago, and we've already got 7.3 million shares on a 20-some-odd name. So not bad. It's rejecting that 24.20 yet again. Okay? It did it 3 times, and at least for now, it is the 4th. With that topping tail candle coming in at 24.18. So for whatever reason, MNTN has a seller at 24 1/5, a random area. Not that one that I would have anticipated. Let's see if this topping tail candle ends up turning red. It's currently green and holding that 23.5, south of 24 though, most importantly. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on here, because if we get that break above 24.20 decisively, now obviously it can be a false breakout, there's plenty of those, but we could easily see that 26.29 high a day and even more. So here's what I'm going to do. I already know that this thing's been rejecting 20 and I don't need any more proof. I'm going to go ahead and set up a resting order at 24.25, and I'm going to give it to 24.40, okay? The reason I'm going to do that is because the spread is prohibitive. It's 9 pennies right now. I've seen it way wider. So I'm going to tell the computer, trigger a buy order at 24.25, but pay up to 24.40 for set shares. That's what I'm doing. I like that possible flat top break. If it ends up being a false breakout, it ends up being a false breakout. That's what trading is. So here we go. The order's in. If it takes out that 20 penny level, then I'm getting long on this one for a possible breakout trade, Joseph.
Yeah, good luck there, guys. Yeah, Bitcoin did put in that another, put in that other all-time high there, Sharif, but then rejecting relatively aggressive there. But the volume is supporting this breakout, and you can see from the price action prints, these are genuine moves, right?
It's 11 coins there on that last one there, eh?
Yeah.
12 coins.
Oh, yeah?
12 coins, 11.97 coins on the last 5-minute print, 15 minute,
Nice. Yeah. So yeah, really nice look there. I mean, this is some quality price action prints right there, right? So you got the volume supporting it, and this is what I refer to not cause and effect, but effort and result, right? So you can see the effort within the effort being the volume, and then the result in the price action print, and you can see that here, right? The effort is there. You have that volume, and then you close almost as bullish as you can get right there. You have a small bit of selling pressure. So if on this pullback the volume is relatively weak and we see it start to stair step down, this is what I was referring to earlier on IONQ. All right, so if you're going to get that breakout, it's going to be a genuine move. Then on this pullback, wait for that volume to start decaying and decrementing, and then now you can look for an entry possibly to the top side here and the continuation of the trend in Bitcoin there. So yeah, Pizza Rat says the calls are calling. I love hearing that, my friend. I think that is absolutely hilarious. Yeah, I was just asking your opinion. Oh, Daniel T. Oh, sorry, brother. Yeah, no, but that's what I was saying. I was saying no. That's what I was meaning. I was just talking about not trying to short the strongest sector in the market. That's just something that you don't want to do. If you want to find something, go through the weaker sectors in the market and try to look for the continuation of the trend or potential breakdowns. And with that being said, we can do that right now for you. We'll go over the top performing and the worst performing sectors here. So in first place, we have consumer discretionary up about 0.6. In second place, we have the tech sector up about 0.5 percentage point there, and the communications sector up about 0.25% there, just a little bit less there, guys. And then you want to see some weak sectors, here you go. Energy sector in third last, down about 0.3. Healthcare, 0.5% down, and then you have utilities down about 1.3%. So if you're looking for the short or the continuation, then go and find some of these weaker sectors, guys. And if you're looking for the continuation and strength, then there you go. You can see some of the better performing sectors there, guys. So yeah, again, that's just what I was referring to. I can't press your keys for you, all right? But just look at the chart and ask yourself, do you want to short this right now? Truly, do you want to short this right now? My answer is going to be heck no. Heck no, right? So like, again, just find something that's relatively weaker and go with that, because this is the strongest sector, no questions asked.
Yeah, well said, Joseph.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm continuing to watch MLGO over here, looking for a $2 break. It's having a lot of trouble breaking two. I'm going to pack my patience. In fact, I'm going to add at 190. There's not that much time, about half an hour left on the show, but we're only about 97 pennies away from that level. So we're rejecting two, but I perceive us to have support at 190 because that's where we had resistance. That's where I was getting out. So I'm going to put an order for this one at 191 to front run that level. So let's go ahead and put it there. So I'll be looking to add into that level. So I'm keeping my eye on MLGO, still involved with that. I'm still involved with Wolf over here as it continues to put in higher highs and higher lows. I didn't get any the money fills at the 20. And now, in fact, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 7 lower high candles on WOLF. So that's the bad side. The good side is we're also putting in higher lows. So if you look at the lows and look at the highs, it's a bit of a compression pattern right now happening on these ones. I'm watching the quantum names and I'm seeing a little bit of weakness now coming into the quantum names. This could be the area where we start picking up some. So let's have a look at IonQ. As I mentioned earlier with IonQ, how respectful it was of the 10 EMA. You can kind of take a gander there between 1150 till 1215, where we were straddling the 10 exponential, and that gave you buying opportunities. Well, here we go again. This candle at 130 just touched the 10 exponential at 45.50, and it's bouncing off at about 25 pennies off that area. So IonQ touching the 10 could be a buy. Rigetti, kind of the same look. Getting into that 10 exponential moving average and finding support again, kind of forming a hammer candle despite the fact it's still red. So keep your eye on Rigetti. Let's see what QBTS, sorry about that. Let's see what QBTS is up to. It's below the 20, but look at all the bottoming tails. That shows you that buyers like it around this level. I personally would be on the lookout here for QBTS to break below that 18.25. If that 18.25 broke, I'd be likely looking for a bounce play off that volume weighted average price at 17.75. The reason I say 18.25 is because that's an area low. Okay, so I don't want to see lower lows and lower highs and then wait in front of that. So if it comes into 18.25 and it bounces, that's a great buy area. If it loses it, I'd be looking at currently 17.75. The volume weighted average price dynamic, obviously, so it could change. My trigger order on MNTN for a 24.25 break and pop hasn't triggered. So despite the fact that this one is still putting in higher lows, we're not getting that higher high break. So I'm starting to think maybe, just maybe, I should be building my position in here with, you know, a loss of maybe say 23.50, 23.40, and I'd get out. The idea here being would get that really good price so that we could scalp into that 24.25, 24.25 area resistance and then hold a piece for the dream. If it does clear that 24.25, then we're holding the piece. So I'm starting to think about this one a little bit more. I'm talking about the IPO MNTN. It seems to have support in and around that level. Let's go ahead and have a look at the time in sales, see what that's looking right now. There it is. So it's a 5-penny spread here on MNTN. Not a bad look at all. In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to punch along here, and I'm going to give this to the 40s, okay? So that's my move here. I'm going to go 23. Excuse me here. Well, I got this ready. 23. We're going to say 23. Let's just go 43. And then we're going to have to give it a good amount of room in case this one does lose the bid. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to look to take this one long and then scalp out some profits in front of that 24 at 24.25, okay? And then I'm gonna leave my order, my resting order active for a breakout trade above 24.25. So that's my move right now on MNTN. Let's see if it ends up working. If it doesn't, all good there. All right, so let's move back into the other one that we had on right now, MLGO, still having lots of trouble with $2, and I'm leaving my order active for a 190 dip trade, and WOLF, I don't know about this one anymore. If it continues to kind of lose the high there, I might just take it out for whatever profits we're in at the moment, Joseph.
Yeah, we got a big time super chat here from Coach Hartman.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you very much, Coach. Sharif, it's actually 40 euros to be exact here.
Oh, wow.
Sharif, yeah, Sharif, a bottle of scotch for your loss, our condolences
I appreciate
from the
you, my
group.
friend.
So,
Thank
yeah,
you very much for
love
that.
there.
I appreciate you for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much there, Coach Hartman.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. You're touching people everywhere.
It's great people. We have the
Yeah.
best viewers in the world. That's no question about that,
there's
man.
no
I do
question.
appreciate that, guys. Sorry we can't have the kind of energy that we've got every day, but you know, I don't have an aunt that dies every day either.
Yeah, so I mean, when it's time due, we respect the dead, and thank you, Coach Hartman, very much
Appreciate
for
that,
that
Coach.
one. Yeah, that's very, very kind of you. There. All right, guys, let's see what we got here. It is that time. Ozan, your favorite segment of the day here. New traders, listen up. First month, free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with back testing, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description. Nima Ahamidi, are you going to trade Tesla today? It's not on my radar. I can pull up my notes for you guys here momentarily. I had two names on my notes here this morning, guys. And that was the likes of Google and IBIT. That's it. Hyper-focus. I know I was having a conversation in the chat with somebody. I was like, yeah, no, I can't look at too many names. My brain doesn't function like that. I'm a simplistic guy. What are the two best traders? What are the strongest underlyings? And that's what I came up with earlier this morning. That is going to be IBIT and Google that best fit my system's criteria. I can go over my one Google trade that I put on, and it's a bag fumbler, unfortunately, because we were in exactly where we wanted to be, but we just didn't execute to our fullest potential. That was our second trade here, but you can see it took me multiple attempts on Google. Otherwise, we would have been riding this wave here, guys, but I got aggressive on that first entry, and I knew this underlying took some more time. So this is what I was referring to earlier, is that when you're sizing up, I've been having these conversations that I like to size up gradually, so I'm not changing my execution. I don't want to mentally change the way I'm looking at the charts just due to the size that I'm trading, because the market doesn't know. This triangle doesn't know. It doesn't know how many shares this is, right? But you know, and you don't want to necessarily affect that, all right? So there you go. I was entered again, and then I got stopped out. And then I didn't put on as much size, but I covered some ground. I covered the losses that I initially endured here on Google, but it wasn't necessarily to my style. I should have been in this name longer, and I could have been in a couple more shares. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. What do? We learn from our mistakes. And then we just look to get better the following day. Neil was saying it. I say 1% better every day. I mean, if it was 10% better, then it would only take 10 days to be perfect. But unfortunately, it's not the case here. It is what it is. We learn from this. We come back tomorrow. I think Google's going to be strong for the foreseeable future. There's going to be plenty of opportunities throughout these trading sessions to get back into these names and find these absolute monster trends.
Absolutely agree with that, Joseph. Guys, QBTS is finding a beautiful move right back above 19. There you go. The money fills on QBTS just a little bit below that 20 exponential. Fantastic look now as it looks to get right back into that high of the day. It's a measly 20 pennies off that. What a move up today for these quantum names. It's been a fantastic look for all of them. I mean, maybe ARQQ not participating. That one we were in a few days ago. It had been a good one. Today it's not really participating. It's really the QBTS, RGTI, and IONQ show. As it has been essentially since the jump there, as you can kind of see, this one really started, they all really started going right at, 9:45. So 15 minutes after the bell, the buy programs turned on and all hell has broken loose to the high side. And I can't tell you I'm displeased by this in any way, shape, or form. I happen to love quantum. I like trading these names. They're always in vogue, and they seem to have a lot of buying behind them. So who's going to complain about that? All right, MLGO just took out $2. We're waiting at 205 next. It's at 202 right now, so good recovery today for MLGO. That said, I didn't get the ad there, sadly. It didn't come down anywhere near 190, so we're kind of flying with light shares. That's okay. We'll look to do a little bit better next time. 214 is the high of the day on MLGO, so be on the lookout for resistance in that 10 penny to 14 penny area on that one. All right, I'm still waiting, or I'm still involved. What should I say? What am I saying? I mean, on MNTN for long, it's been holding this general area. I've given it to the mid-40s, low 40s for a stop out. It hasn't stopped me out, but it hasn't been breaking through $24 either. So the volume profile really starting to dwindle here on MNTN, and that really isn't good for the longs. You need a good amount of volume to continue moving up. You don't need all that much volume to move down. So since I'm in a long, I will need the volume on my side here. So MNTN, I want to say I don't think it's the least volatile of the two names, but HNG has been kind of nuts. It's well below the open price there, whereas MNTN, not so much. So HNGE looks very much like a bear flag with that 39 and change high, 39.80, something high with a 37.02 low. So we only got a $2 worth of range and the volume really dropping off here. So HNGE certainly not being as well received possibly here as MNTN. Maybe has something to do with the star power that Ryan Reynolds brings, and he is obviously Canadian, so we'll shut him out there. Not really sure about his wife, though, but in any event, we won't go there, I guess. So we'll keep...
Hey, you got to be careful, man. Catch a civil over there, man.
Yeah, well, I didn't say anything, right? I said I'm not sure about her, but yeah, you're good point, Joseph. Yeah. Everybody's suing these days.
Yeah.
Rigetti at the high of the day again, guys, 1382. Here we go. Rigetti getting in right into that $14 area. We could see a 14 touch today. It looks like at least we're about 18 penny off that level, 18 pennies off that level. So we'll continue to watch Rigetti here. I mean, fantastic entry, but not a good hold, and definitely should have been exercising more patience on that. Let me flip to Wolf over here because it's kind of losing that trend. I'm long at 65s on Wolf. It got to 85s. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give this to 69s, okay? So we're going to move up our order right now. It's going to have to defend that 69 penny level, so we'll throw that stop there, and we'll cancel the old one. So Wolf, there it is. So we'll cancel the old one there. And then I also have to cancel, I've got 2 stops on MNTN. One's a breakout trade and one's a stop loss. Okay, good. MLGO as well, I got to cancel that stop as well. MLGO's dropping below $2 again. So we clear 2 and then we drop below 2. So I'm really unsure what to make of this going forward. I've only got 1 out left on it, so it's not the most important priority for me right now. So keep my eye on that, and I'll keep my eye on MNTN. Simultaneously, I'm keeping my eye on Bitcoin as it hangs around that 112,000. Great look today, guys. Keep your eye on those higher lows, Joseph.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. All right, thanks for pointing that stuff out. Fantastic stuff. We got bull breaking out here as well, too, folks. Volume really starting to step in. You see us punching through some of these key resistance zones there. What, bull, Katina Man, or RGTN? What, bull? Oh, yeah. It's breaking out. I mean, the volume is there, too. So good shout out from you guys. And my good friend, I don't know how to say, but yeah, my Palantir style trade over here, that is going to be Robinhood. Katina Man, Mr. Robin Hood himself, taking from the rich and giving to the poor, putting some more cash in your boy Joe's pocket here as we continuously climb higher. I mean, I've been buying this name for some time now in the 40s, and we've just been climbing higher and higher and higher. I can say that with a grin on my face, but yeah, there you go. We almost punched those all-time highs. Okay, we did. We tapped right into them roughly there, guys, and then we pulled right back. So yeah, I think at some point we will, but you can see that we're kind of just doing that stair-step pattern ABC style of trading here. You get that leg higher, pull back, leg higher, pull back, leg higher. So now you just need to wait for that pullback, and then hopefully you can make that leg, that third leg higher there, guys. But yeah, Hood strong today on the session, intraday session. The market is gaining a lot of ground here, so I'm happy to have been out of that short here, guys, because you don't want to be holding on to this. We'll pull up the 5-minute time frame. Yeah, I just don't want to hold on to it. I mean, I was looking for the opening price, which was right at around 513. We didn't get that. So, yeah, I added right around here. Didn't get that move as we continuously climb back to the top side. So don't want to be fighting the trend, especially in this market. I like how Katina Man was saying it not too long ago. He's like, yeah, essentially, technically, we are in a bull market. We are more than 20% off of those lows, significantly more, almost 30% off of those lows. So there you go. Waiting for a pullback. I do believe that this gap will get filled, though, eventually, right? And for me, the sooner the better, right? So just get it over with. Fill that gap, hold some of these resistance zones that can now act as support, and then we can look to break that all-time high. At the peak of this consolidation phase, we were only 3% off of the all-time highs. I said earlier there's zero chance with the way the market was looking a month ago that we are going to trade around those all-time highs. I wasn't expecting a couple-week or a couple-month bear market. I thought it was going to be more extended. That has not been the case. A monster recovery, 30% off the lows, 3% off of those all-time highs. You don't want to fight this market. It's strong. Are we going to get those gap fills? I would like so. I would hope so, because that would give me more of a gauge of where the market is, and it's slightly more healthy. If it does get bought back up, then it's like, okay, now we can start participating and adding more shares for that break of that all-time high, because I have mentioned it one more time that we were only about 3% off of that there. So, yeah.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Katie Stockton, obviously a noted chartered market technician. Yeah, she was on what's that show before Squawk Box called?
Not Tech Check.
No. So before it, like at 5 a.m.
5 a.m. Yeah,
I forget the name of the show. Anyway, it's that dude who anchors it. He had Katie on. And Katie, obviously, she's a heavyweight in the technician industry. She was saying that everything was yelling, believe it or not, and I don't know how I feel about what she's saying here. Everything's screaming reversion. Everything is screaming overbought. And everything is screaming like we're supposed to drop back down. So she's saying we could see new lows. I find that to be a ballsy call on her part.
Yeah, that is a ballsy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to be like, again, Sharif, the tariffs they're not gone, right? They're only paused for 90 days, right? So if some deals don't go the way that Donald's expecting them to, then we can most definitely 100%. See like a move back down towards the lows. And the China, I think China's something really, really big too.
And the debt. Remember that 20-year yesterday? That was met very bad reception.
Yeah.
The good news about that is, and I did a little bit of reading on that, guys, about the 20-year yesterday. It's the one that's in least demand out of all the other treasuries. So the fact that it wasn't met with that much demand, I don't want to say is, you know, is better, but it kind of is, right? Like if you had seen that kind of, or lack of demand for the 10-year or the 30-year or even the 2-year, then we could, or the 5-year, we could be, I guess, be a bit more worried. I'm worried. I'm worried because I think the bond market also doesn't like the tax cuts that are coming with the bill that passed today in the House. Now, what the House did was it made the 2017 tax cuts from Trump 1.0 permanent. They hadn't been permanent until that time. So what does that matter? Well, because taxes are revenue, right? And if your balance sheet isn't in order, dropping revenue is a bit of a tougher look, because then obviously you don't have as much to pay off with the debt. So I think that the bond market or the treasury market may not really like that. We'll have to see if it passes the Senate in its current form. My understanding is the senators don't have an issue with making the tax cuts permanent, the 2017 tax cuts. They have other issues about entitlements that they want to see removed. So we'll see. We'll see. We saw some stuff in there today that looks like it pleased some of these more right-leaning or more fiscally conservative representatives in the House. Whether or not it's enough to please the bond market and enough to get passed in the Senate, and if it gets passed in the Senate, is it bullish or bearish? So lots of stuff, man. I mean, I think we really need to take debt into account. And I don't know all of a sudden why the debt now is in vogue. Where has the debt, where has this been, this obsession with balancing our books the last 4 years? Why were we always just spending, and not really focusing on the debt? And now we're focusing on the debt, and you know, tax cuts are all of a sudden bad. So I see the, you know, kind of talking out of two sides of our mouth here when it comes to that, and being selective with what is in play and what isn't at the moment. So we'll see how the market takes everything, Joseph.
Absolutely. And I was reading some stuff on the consumer as well too, how they may be a little gun shy, and we might see some weakening in the consumer as well too, Shreve, because we have experienced about 3-4 years of inflation, right? And they're scared to kind of head back into that realm of heightened prices. So yeah, I mean, a lot of curious stuff here, a lot of good stuff to talk about. It's great for our market. The volatility is great, and then we'll just play the price action as is. So yeah, Robinhood is just going insane right now. I love seeing this here, guys, continuing to climb higher, breaking out. This is going to be a key pivot. Let's see if we can break through that. With that being said, let's take a gander at the options chain to see if we have any high levels of open interest at 66 there roughly. So yeah, we'll take a look at that. Yeah, okay, so nothing crazy. I mean, 65, we got 10,000, just closer to 11,000. 66, we only got about 7,000 there, less than that, 6.9 to be exact. The highest level is at that 70 with 13,000 current open contracts at 70. So that's telling me there's room to run in Robinhood, guys. So by the end of the week, I wouldn't be surprised if we're just shy of that 70 strike price there. So yeah, I like that look a lot. One thing, I think it was Havana Woody, or Pug Life, was talking to me, and I was thinking yesterday as well too, Sharif.
Sure.
You were asking me about the, was it CoreWeave puts?
Yeah.
The CoreWeave puts. And Havana, or it was either Pug Life or Havana, said, yeah, just kind of use it as an insurance policy. Look at it as an insurance policy. And as I'm on my drive home, I like to think and everything along those lines. And you're like, okay, let's get into those 75 strike prices. But then I'm like, no, lift that and go to 95, where I think you have a better opportunity just to go like further dated out and then see if you can get that move to the downside, because there's so many things that come into factor with that, right? So you can't, and why I would say not 75 and go with that 95 or whatever it was, is just because think about it, if you were going to exercise that contract, even though you're not going to.
95, right?
Yeah, exactly, and further dated out, just so you don't have to worry about the time, because if you're only a month out, then you only have a couple weeks before theta really starts to kick in. So if you really do like that short idea, you can use the further dated out expiration cycle. It will cost you a little bit more, but if it does decide to start breaking down later than you expected, you're not going to, that contract won't be as affected by time decay.
That's
right?
very interesting.
So, and that's one thing that's really important as well, too, guys. The reason why I brought this up is someone in the chat asked me, what kind of dates am I looking at? If I'm going to use this leverage product, I may as well try to take full advantage of it by buying the time as well, because it's still only going to cost you a fraction of the amount that it would cost you to actually buy or short the actual common stock. So for me, I think that's where a lot of options traders get chewed up, is that, okay, it's like, yeah, I bought it a week out, I bought it 2 weeks out, but it takes a week for your move to get going. And then by the time that you start heading in the direction that you want, the time value has been absolutely chewed up. So for me, it's just buy the time and just use the leverage product to the best of your ability and take advantage of the fact that it doesn't cost you as much. You just pay a little bit more in options premium.
That's a great point, man. Yeah. Guys, I want to mention that some of these, I don't want to call them meme names, but I don't have another name for them. You have GME here. I don't know why it's up 5 2/3. Chewy's up 2 1/3. AMC is up almost 8%. Carvana 3.5%. I just throw a bunch of different names that I call, meme stocks in there. They're all strong on the day, so I really don't know what to account for that. But in any event, I want to bring that to your attention. A good look nonetheless. So we'll keep an eye on that. Guys, for, they're not doing too much volume. GME's just below that $30 area. It seems to have a 30.43 high, so certainly not a bad look for the name on the day here. So keeping my eye on my current positions. I just closed my position on Wolf, so that trade is done. Good trade on the day. But the one I'm really focusing on now is this one. It is not MLGO. But MNTN. So this one just got a 1 penny off my profit taker, and then it did reject. It didn't cross, by the way. So what I'm thinking about this one is there seems to be a seller, a real big seller here at 24.20. And I think that if we take out that seller at 24.20, it's going to be a really interesting look to the high side. Whether or not we're able to get into that 26.29 high of the day and even further, that's a bit of a different question. We'll have to see if the buying comes in fast and furious there, but certainly there is something afoot here with 24.20. And how you take advantage of that is going to really be up to you. What I've done, my move here, which is a low risk move, was I got in at the mid end of the range. I'm looking to take profits ahead of that 24.25, and then I've got a breakout trade order. If it does clear 24.25, I've told the computer to buy and to pay up to 24.40. So here we go with 24 again. We've got every single candle, guys, since that 1 p.m. bottoming tail candle that went into 21.50 has been a higher low. So buyers have been picking this up at higher and higher levels. To me, I see ascending wedge, but whether or not it ends up manifesting in an ascending wedge and you get a big break to the high side, we'll have to wait and see. But this one looking like it's setting up real well. Now, HNGE has kind of been the opposite. It's very zig and zag. Go ahead.
It's just, sorry, I'm just talking on the side. RGTI, it's
going.
Not stopping.
It's going.
It's just continuing.
So is IonQ.
Is it still climbing higher? Like, this is crazy.
IonQ just printed just printed another high day, 47.29. I mean, so a QBTS is like 19 pennies off the high as well. So, I mean, they're all really at that high. Great trade, Sean, today. You've been taking that one since the morning. We're going to shout you out, brother. You took something outside your lane and you absolutely killed it. Satea.
Yes, so speaking of pennies, the U.S. Treasury Department says it will phase out the production of new pennies. So President Donald Trump asked the agency to stop producing the coin. So the elimination of the penny could lead to a slight increase in prices due to rounding, and it could also change the way consumers perceive small purchases. While the penny's production cost is more than its face value, the impact on the markets extends beyond just its cost. Back to you.
Yeah, for that, and that's something how long? Has it been 10 years now?
Yeah, it's been a while.
10 years?
I don't know if it's been 10 years, but it's been
How
a
long
while
has it been, boys, since the penny's been gone in Canada? It feels like 10 years.
Yeah.
It feels like a decade. Yeah. We haven't had pennies here for, almost a decade now, so we're kind of used to it. We round up to fives, so we got the nickel still. Yeah. But, I mean, do you pay in cash a lot?
No,
neither do I. Everything. Of course, right? Most people are tapping now. So I don't think that's really a practical problem, like everyday problem, because most people are tapping.
Yeah,
right?
I think most people are tapping. tap everything. Again, you guys know I have a little bit of beef with the Dallas credit card system. I don't know if that's how it is.
Behind, bro. You're right. When I go to LA, it's the same
you have to sign the check.
It's
like,
not
bro.
as good. Like you go into a store, they may or may not have Apple Pay. You might actually have to insert your debit
It's
card.
like you guys came up with it, not us. Like why can we tap everything left, right, and center? It doesn't even matter what it is. But when I was in Dallas, it's like, okay, sign the check and then sign another check for the tip, and then your credit cards get charged, and then a week later you're getting charged even more because they're taking out the tip. And I'm like, yo, what is going on here? Just let me take my card, take my money. I'm giving you 10%. That's the type of guy. I'm a 10% guy. My grandpa told me be a 10% guy. I think that's reasonable. If the service is immaculate, then you get 15%. That's simple, right? I'm not going anything over that. I'm not cheap. Hey, I'm not cheap. I'm not adding another 20% on top of my bill. 10 to 15%. That's just me, all right? Hate it or love it. I mean, IO and Q, guys, let's take a look at this chart. Look at this massive engulfing candle right here. $34 we open up, and now we're trading at 47. This is absolutely insane. I know exactly what I'm going to be looking at tomorrow. So yeah, that's it. I love this sector right now. Let's see if the strength can continue.
All right, guys, MNTN, we took it out there. We were long at 75. We took it out at 15s or 10s, excuse me. But now it did cross. Look at that. It got into 24.20, but my order at 24.25, pay up to 24.40 has not triggered, okay? I'm gonna leave that order active. I think that this is a good setup. I perceive this to be a good setup, it looks like an inverse head and shoulders. That's what I see. Now, whether or not it's an inverse head and shoulders, it doesn't really matter all that much to me. What matters more is the higher low and flat top situation. This is what I'm looking at, guys. This is what's keeping me quite optimistic. Look at that pattern where we put in higher lows, and then there is your flat top right there. So kind of that's the ascending wedge, and the triangle, that's kind of the triangle shape there. So I got printed, but it didn't cross substantially enough the candle. This candle has a 24.26 high. That wasn't enough to activate my order. So my order, if it was to be activated and not trigger, you would see a buy order waiting there on the screen unfilled. That didn't happen, so my script order still hasn't triggered on MNTN. We're seeing 12s now on the ask and 02 on the bid, so it's now holding above 24. Keep your eye on the volume profile too. So if you want this breakout, if you're of the bias like myself, that this is gonna be a flat top break, it's got to be supported by volume. And all we've seen since this thing opened, since the second candle of the open here, has been lower highs on the volume. So we're going to need to change that. Like, it's going to have to start curling like the price action. You can't have price action volume divergence and have a huge breakout like this. It's just not going to be that kind of situation. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Good look. Wolf also moving to the high side. MLGO at $2. Speaking of two, it is now 2 o'clock, Joseph. So send them off, baby.
Yeah, all right. Everybody's telling me I need to bump that average tip up. All right, I'll start at 15 and then a high at 20, guys, just to make everyone happy.
So you're 10, yeah.
Hey, listen, no, but if I ever order Uber Eats, I'll always give the guy a little bit more, right?
Yeah,
so I'll tip that. Yeah, and he comes up, he delivers it to me.
Condo too. He's coming up.
He's coming up the elevator and everything along those lines. But if I'm going to a burrito spot or anything like that, I don't understand why you're just doing your job. You don't get
you're
not serving me
I'm
anything.
not tipping if I'm picking up. If I'm sitting down, I'm tipping.
Different story. Yeah, exactly. No. So there you go. 10%. You gotta be happy with that.
Boys, you tipping on the pickup or you're only tipping on the sit down? If you're picking up food. He's not tipping. Katina Man is not tipping if he's picking up food. Neil, no. Pick up, no. I happen to agree with that.
Pick up, no.
I mean, what are they doing?
Bring it over here.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, welcome everybody.
I mean, it depends.
Just to finish it, like, there could be, I don't know.
It depends on the circumstances. Like, if you're going, I don't know, if I have like a $20 bill and I'm picking up a couple sandwiches, I give $2 or $3.
Yeah.
You know.
The other thing